just to let y'all know, Facebook ads are working incredibly well right now. And we're really excited to talk about it. So take some notes, because if you guys can walk away with one gem that can turn y'all's business into a whole nother level, then it was worth it, right? So make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you don't miss these gems. But listen, I want to introduce y'all into one of our students who is absolutely crushing the game right now on so many levels. And she has been so gracious to hop on tonight and actually share what she's doing in her business right now with her ads and everything. Without further ado, Krista Leach, what's going on? How you doing tonight?
Hey guys. God, craziness, but good.
First of all, tell the people a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where were you at before you met us? Give them a little bit of a backstory.
Sure. Hey guys. So my name is Krista Leach. I own Prickly Polka Dot Boutique. I live and work out of my home in Stillwater, Minnesota. I run everything from here. Originally, I housed inventory where I'd bring inventory in-house. I would sell it that way. I would do all the shipping. When the pandemic hit, I decided that drop shipping was the way that I wanted to go. And at that point, initially I was doing about 50 to 60K, I would say. And then we saw like a huge spike during the pandemic. And after that, it trickled down and down and down and continued to trickle down. At that point, I was having a marketing team run my ads. At first, they were doing great. Then it would slow down, continued to slow down. I kept asking for updates. I wasn't getting updates from them. I didn't really feel like they were full on taking me seriously. And so I ended up dropping them and then hired on another team. That team was horrible from the get-go, wasted a lot of money. And so then I dropped them and decided to start tinkering blindly on my own, which goes oh so well. And so I started kind of looking around to see what was out there, what I could learn just by myself. And then I had saw a post and somebody was asking about marketing companies, and Stephen had commented about learning to do my own. And I instantly messaged him and I was like, hey, like, this is where I want to go with this. I don't trust anyone. Like, I absolutely don't trust anyone anymore. I've been burnt so many times. I said that I am on my last leg with this. I'm not seeing the return on it, but I don't want to give up. And I remember you had asked me, you said, what are you doing this for? And when I met you, my daughter was weeks old. And I said, I want her to be proud of me. I want her to grow up and look up to me and say, my mom was an entrepreneur. My mom is an entrepreneur. My mom built this business. My mom gets to stay at home and be with me every single day if she wants to, because she busted her butt and she did it. That is the most important thing to me. So when I met you and we got to talking, I signed up instantly for the mentorship because I was like, this is it. Like, I either do this or I'm done. Like, I need to learn something. And so we went through the training, I think, last fall into kind of winter. But I actually pulled up here. I'm going to flip my computer around so you guys can see my screen. This was January of this year. 41,000 is what I did in sales in January of this year. And I started to implement the stuff that I learned, started to tweak stuff. One of the best things that I do is that I look into my ads every single day. I analyze my ads. I go through the data, and I didn't know how to read the data before. Now I do after going through all the training and knowing what ad is working, knowing what ad is not working, being able to shut off, create a whole new ad if I want to. And then this is where I'm at today. Holy crap for the month. Never in my wildest dreams. This was my goal. Like, when I joined your last call and you guys asked us in the chat, like, what do you guys want to be doing? I said 150. And I never considered that was actually going to be a thing. Like, that was going to be a realistic goal. And I hit that today. And I literally, the second I saw it, I sent it over to Steven and I was like, next month, I want to hit 200K. After that, I want to just keep soaring. And I know that I can now. I have the tools in my background now, the confidence to do it too. There is no ceiling more. Like, I surpassed that, and I can't wait to see where I go with it. Finally starting to like look at the end of the month and be like, hey, look how much money I have in the business's bank account. Like, I was talking to my boyfriend today and I'm like, I can pay some stuff off. I can do what I want to. I can start investing even more. I can start running faster if I want to. I'm so excited. I'm so excited as to where I am now. I'm finally proud of me. And that's a huge thing. For the longest time, I said, oh, I stepped into this not knowing what I was doing as a business owner. And ever since meeting you, I was like, you know what? I'm taking this back. I am taking my business back. I'm not going to let somebody else run my ads. Nobody will ever take that from me again, because I can do it, and I can do it better than what the marketing companies did for me. Once you learn the basics, you learn the gist of it, and being able to run with things confidently. Like, I had a top of the funnel ad running at like my ROAs were a 6. Like, times 6 is huge. I went from running $10 an ad to I've got some of my ads that are running $200+ a day because they're running at 4, 5, 6 times. And that's top of the funnel. I have a middle of the funnel ad running right now at 12. It's wild. Like, here, I can scroll back.
Listen, guys, we're going to get into some actual strategies and stuff here in a second too, but I really want y'all to hear that story, right? Because when she first met us, she was paying an agency. The agency was ripping her off and was like holding information from her. Yeah. And now she's in a place where she can literally like do this stuff with confidence. But yeah. So by the way, we're showing receipts. Okay. Anyone who ever talks numbers, make them show receipts.
Yes.
So what she's like literally showing y'all a live Facebook ad account right now. So y'all check this out.
Yes,
this is
these are what's all going right now. And one of my biggest things, and I told Stephen, is that I run my ads, and when I look at the analytics, I like to look at everything in the last 7 days. Because yeah, you can look at, okay, this ad has been running for X amount of time. Let's look at it as an overview for the full life of the ad. But I also look at it as, okay, what has it been doing for me in the last 7 days? Because it could have been doing great in the beginning, but it's no longer doing great now. And so I then will analyze that as well. So this is the last 7 days. These are what my ads are currently running at. You can see right here, this one's almost 13. And that's middle of the funnel. Like, him and I color coded everything. And it's funny too, because I'm almost 6 months to a year past when I did my training with them. And the reports I use are my VAMP reports, because we set it up. We set it up perfectly so that I don't need to change them. I don't need to add anything, because him and I set it all up perfectly. But so these are my bottom of the funnels here. That's my middle of the funnel. The rest, all the blue going up, is my top of the funnels. But you can see my middle of the funnel is almost 13. My bottoms of the funnel is 6 and almost 8.
And for those of y'all who are not very savvy when it comes to ads, let me show y'all what you're actually looking at, right? That one all the way to the right where it says purchase ROAS, ROAS, what that's really saying is like, hey, for every dollar that you spent on ads, how many dollars did you make back?
Yeah.
So you see at that very top one, it says 3.13. That means for every dollar she spent on that ad, she made $3.13 back.
Correct.
The one below it says 462, 222. So you can see she's at least doubling and tripling and quadrupling her money on every single ad that's going, right?
And like I said, every dollar that goes into that, I'm making almost $13 back.
Crazy.
And again, I want to encourage y'all that anyone can run an initial ad. Anyone can hit publish on an ad and think that they're doing something. Like, that's whatever, right? But when you start getting into retargeting techniques and ways to get more people to buy from you again and again, you need a strategy to actually go about doing that. But Krista is living proof that funnel strategy works.
Now, let me ask y'all this. How many of y'all in here right now operate from your house? You're running your business out of your house. There's this huge like false belief that you have to be this corporate structure, this huge entity in this massive warehouse to make a lot of money. All right. What I want y'all to remember, and I want y'all to pick up on what Krista said, she's bringing in $150,000 per month right now, and she's doing it from her house. Okay. She don't have no big old corporate like crazy warehouse. She's doing it from her spare bedroom. That should be so encouraging to you guys, right? Because there's people out here struggling to make 150 a year, and she's out here doing this in a month out of a small bedroom. I want y'all to really sit down and think about this for a second. If you were making $150,000 this month, how would that change y'all's life? What kind of personal shifts would be happening? What would you do with that money? So, Krista, let's give the people some gems, man. Let's give them some strategies. Like, content is a really big part of your ads performance, right? Can you give the people like a little bit of strategy on what kind of ads are typically working best for you?
Videos are huge right now with Facebook. Facebook resonates with videos. It pushes the algorithm to videos. I personally, we do a lot of fit videos. We'll have either me or some of the suppliers that I work for actually provide them, but models showing what size they're wearing. They're talking about the fit. They're talking about the fabric, and they're less than a minute long little videos, but it helps so much because when you're trying to stand apart in an online world, people are going to buy from you. They want to buy from somebody that they think is a real person type of thing. So the more transparent you can be with that, like people love. One of the things that I'm doing for the bottom of the funnel, and it was a great idea that Steven had given me, was to create a thank you video. It's a retargeting campaign for the people that have already purchased from me. So right after they purchase, they then get, I think it's like a couple days later, they get hit with a retargeting campaign of just me coming on and telling them how grateful I am. At the end, I do say, if you ever need anything, definitely message me, comment here. Or if you want to shop some more, if you want to see our new stuff, this is the way to do it. Just have that little plug in there because you need those call to actions. That's another thing. There should be a call to action on every single one of your ads. Because what's the ad if you're not instructing them to do something? So those are some of the big ones that I really push for.
Yeah, that's huge. Honestly, like video is a really big deal. If y'all aren't like promoting with video, y'all really need to get on that. Those are the primary ads that are going to go off, right? And the reason why is because they always say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but a video is actually worth 1,000 images. So it's a good way to think about it because a video will give you so much more. Because remember, when people are shopping online, a confused mind never buys. So the reason why videos work so well is because now you're answering so many questions that they have about your particular product or service through a video that an image will not give you. Okay. So definitely like use video for that reason, but also the other reason is actually for your benefit as well. Because when you guys use video, there's actually a whole lot more data that you're collecting on Facebook on the back end that you can use to your benefit. With an image, you only have a little bit of data that you can actually leverage on the back end. But if you're using videos, you can create custom audiences from that and retarget those people. You can create lookalike audiences from that and go find more customers. There's so many different things that you can do with video data that you can't do with image data.
It's a game changer. And with video content too, she's showing the product in action. So for those of y'all that are not selling clothes, you can still create videos of showing whatever the product or service you have in action. Because when you show the product in action, it gives the people a better idea of what it is that they're going to get and what it is that they're paying for. So that's a gem, y'all. Don't think that just because Krista's an online boutique that you can't utilize the video strategies that she's using to run it up. Another big thing that she said was call to action. Make sure when you're running your ads that you have some sort of call to action in place to tell people what to do. One of the biggest mistakes that novice marketers make is they assume that just because you can go on Facebook and you can add like a little shop now button, that's all it's going to take. But that's not the case at all. In all actuality, you still need to be assuming that people do not know what to do regardless of what button you have inside of your ad. So always tell people what to do when you're running ads because ultimately they're going to do what you tell them.
Yeah. Krista, like if you don't mind, I want to point something out. Could you share your Facebook metrics one more time with them? And can you look at the actual purchases, the amount?
Yeah. So this is over the last 7 days. I can change it to like full here if you want to see like the maximum.
Actually, just do 30 days actually. Yeah. I want y'all to really look at this for a second. I want to change y'all's perspective completely about this right here. All right. You see that column where it says purchases? Right there in the middle, you see it says 142, 124, 250, 204, right? I want to point this out because amateur marketers, what they do is they come in here and they look at this. Okay, cool. Like I got these purchases right here. But guys, I want to change y'all's mindset. I want y'all to understand that these are not just purchases. These are real people.
Yeah.
Okay. This is in the past 30 days. Just do the math on this. 250, 204, that's 450 plus 150, that's 600, 700. Like you can easily count like about 1,000 purchases in 30 days. Now, what that means is that she's brought in 1,000 new customers into her world. Now, let me ask y'all this. When someone comes into your world and they purchase with you and they have a great experience, what are they going to do? Return, keep purchasing, buy again, tell more people, right? This is how y'all need to think about this. This is why this is such a game changer. And by the way, she's brought in 1,000 new customers into her world.
Yes.
And Krista, did you ever go around driving around in a van handing out business cards to do that?
No. Oh gosh, no.
No, she's doing it from her house, from a laptop. Okay. We can even probably assume that the majority of those people who bought with you probably would have never even met you if it wasn't for these ads. Would you say that's true?
That's correct. And I joke, you say that it's a room. This is literally my kitchen, you guys. This is where I work from.
No.
There's
So
true
dope.
transparency right there.
So dope. I love that, man. I love that so much. So I want y'all to think about this from y'all's perspective now. Just in the past 30 days, Krista was able to leverage Facebook ads to bring in 1,000 new people who actually swiped the card and spent with her. Now, how many of y'all right now feel like y'all have amazing products and services? Guess what, guys? Y'all can have the most amazing product and amazing service in the world. But guess what? If nobody knows who you are, it doesn't matter. Okay? You have got to start putting yourself out there. Do you guys know that there's probably thousands, probably tens of thousands, most likely hundreds of thousands of people who would love to buy your products and services right now if they just knew that you existed? Think about that for a second. Let that really sink in to your bones. How many of y'all ever heard of F&F syndrome? A lot of people haven't heard of F&F syndrome. I guarantee that you suffer from it though. It's called friends and family syndrome, right? So many people, they start up a business and they're like, hey, going to their cousins and their sister, all their friends and family, like trying to get them to, they're buying stuff, right? And it's cool because they'll probably buy stuff for the first couple of weeks, maybe the first couple of months. But then after that, they're like, yo, listen, like, I've already bought your stuff. Leave me alone, right? Now you got to go out and find some new people to harass. Then they want discounts. Exactly, Rashida. So listen, I want y'all to know that, first of all, your friends and family are not your target audience. So don't be surprised when they don't support you, when they don't buy your stuff. They're not your target audience. But the good news is you don't need your friends and family to be your target audience. Do you guys know that there are over 3 billion people on Facebook and Instagram? 3 billion with a B. These are active profiles, okay? Y'all don't need the whole entire world to love what y'all do. All you need is a small fraction of a percentage of those people to actually rock with you at all, for you guys to make more money than you literally even know what to do with. That's the actual reality. Have you guys ever heard us talk about the 1,000 true fan rule before? And by the way, this one concept right here that I'm gonna show y'all literally changed my entire life. It changed the way that I think about business. It changed the way I think about everything. The 1,000 true fan rule goes like this. If you guys can get 1,000 true fans, what is a true fan? A true fan is someone who just loves what you do. They buy your stuff. You know, they love you, your personality, right? If you can get 1,000 true fans to spend $100 with you over the course of an entire year, then you just made $100,000 a year in your business. Let's dive into those numbers. First of all, 1,000 people, that's not a lot of people, guys. It really just isn't. I just told y'all there's over 3 billion people on Facebook and Instagram right now, active, real people. Do y'all think that y'all can get at least 1,000 people to rock with y'all? You don't need the whole entire world to love you. You just need like at least 1,000, right? 100%. 1,000 people is not a lot of people. Krista just did that in the past 30 days. And we're not just talking about it. She just shared her screen. I can't fake that. She just brought in 1,000 new people in the past 30 days. Y'all can do it too. If Krista's doing it basically in her kitchen, listen, y'all can do it too, right? Come on. So that, first of all, 1,000 people, that's not a lot of people. And then $100 a year. Guys, $100 a year is literally no money. It's like literally zero money. That actually breaks down to $8.33 a month. Do y'all think that y'all can get people to spend at least $100 with you over the course of a year? So 1,000 fans, that's not a lot of fans. $100 a year, that's not a lot of money. But when you put those two things together, it creates an incredible result. And there's some of y'all in here that are thinking right now, yeah, that's great. $100,000 a year, that's great, but I need more than that. How many of y'all in here are like, 100,000 is not enough? Where all my really ambitious people at? Listen, the beautiful thing about this is all this is a math problem, right? If you guys want to make more, guess what? Get those 1,000 true fans to spend $500 with you in a year. And now what you've done is now you're making $500,000 a year. You start making $500,000 a year, you're making doctor money out here from your laptop and your phone. Doctors will be jealous of you because they're on call like 100,000 hours a day.
It's different.
It's different. Y'all can do this like this because to be honest with you, like $500 a year is a lot more realistic than $100 a year. Like $100 a year is not even realistic. I've spent more than $100 today.
You just saw Krista's account, 1,000 new customers this month, right? And then you just saw how she's doing it and what she's doing. She's funneling them down the funnel, top of funnel, to the middle of the funnel, to the thank you video at the bottom of the funnel, right? And each step along the way, guess what she's doing? She's making more money. She got a money machine going on right now because she has this funnel correctly built. And y'all can do the same thing.
Now you can, and you can do it a lot faster than you think too. And by the way, this stuff is not rocket science, man. Krista, you already know this is not rocket science to learn this stuff, right?
No.
It really isn't. I'm going to get real with y'all for a second. The real reason that y'all think Facebook ads is so overwhelming and it's so confusing, it's not because of the topic. It's because of the way that you've been learning is wrong. You guys have been trying to learn something by just watching a bunch of free YouTube videos. And when you do that, here's what you're doing. You are trying to learn from 78 different teachers, and they're all teaching you different strategies, and they're all got different teaching styles, right? And then so you take the 78 different strategies and you go back and you're like trying to put them together and you're like, wait, this person said that, and this person said this. Wait, what should I do? I'm confused. Let me go back to YouTube. And then you go back to YouTube, and next thing you know, it's been 6 years and you still are overwhelmed, right? That's not the way that we learn. You need someone to sit down with you and say, look, this is step 1, step 2, step 3. Try that out. Let's look at the data and then let's tweak from there. And if y'all can trace steps, y'all can learn how to do this. But you got to learn the right way. Like when you guys went to school, when you walked into 5th grade, did you guys have 78 teachers at the front of the room? Welcome in. No,
sir.
Of course not. That would be crazy. No one would learn anything. But yet that's the way that a lot of people are trying to learn this stuff. And they wonder why they're struggling. Krista, all right, so we talked about content. So you're doing a lot of video content. The majority of her ads right now that are crushing it are video. So if y'all aren't doing video, y'all need to do it right now. All right. What kind of, can we give the people some targeting? Like what kind of targeting strategies have you been using? What's that been looking like?
Sure. I definitely have been honing in on my targeting. It's always interesting. Like I joke that like I'm very pierced, tattooed, that such, but like the grandmas love me. And so and it's something that I've learned, and I target to those then. I target to people that are of a different age category than I am. I will run different ads based on what kind of clothing it is too. I will do A/B testing to see, is this item going to perform much better on a younger demographic type of thing.
I want y'all to pick up on something that she just said too. She looks at herself, I got tattoos and she's like hipster and like cool and all that stuff. But the majority of her customers are like older folks, right? A lot of people, when they're trying to figure out who they should target and who their target audience is, a lot of them use their own opinion of who they think their customer is. And that is a massive, huge mistake. Never use your own opinion to figure out who your target audience is. Always use data. Because the data will never lie, right? The data will always tell you exactly what's up. And actually, you guys will be very surprised. When you start running your ads, you might think that my target audience is between 25 and 45 and they live in Idaho and they talk this way. But then when you start running ads, you got 65-year-olds that live in Africa that are buying your stuff. You honestly have no idea who your target audience is until you put it out there into the world. And what I want y'all to do is stop using your own opinion when it comes to targeting. Use the data. And the beautiful thing about Facebook ads is that when you start running your ads, all this data starts popping into your account. And it's the most amazing thing. Facebook ads will literally tell you everything that you need to know. It'll tell you like what ads are working. It'll tell you what targeting's working, what creatives are working, where your customer's at, what state they're in, what age they are. It'll tell you everything. But if you don't know how to read that data and you don't know how to speak that language, then you're completely winging it like 95% of the world is.
You can learn this stuff. Like you can be empowered and learn this stuff. But if you're not taking action on the things that you learn, you might as well have not learned it, right? The reason why Krista is successful is because she continues to run the play. It does us no good to sit here and tell you the moves that we're making and the things that we do if y'all ain't running the play. If you run one ad and it doesn't work, that doesn't mean stop. That just means that you need to tweak and continue to run, because I promise you, once you crack the code to getting your content on point and coupling that with ads, you're going to be successful and you're going to make money. All right. But you have to continue to run the play. Krista is taking that action and she's making $150K per month. All right.
Multiply that by 12 months, $150K a month is almost $2 million a year.
Yes.
Y'all start to put these numbers together, right? These things that y'all think are so crazy, like $1 million a year, $2 million a year. I want y'all to stop thinking like that's big numbers. I want y'all to stop thinking that's a mystery. It's not a mystery. All it is a math problem. You just got to figure out where your customers are and get them to start spending money with you. And honestly, this is the best way to do it. How many of y'all are inspired to start actually running some Facebook ads now? Every single day that you're not running ads, you are letting your customers go spend money with other businesses.
Facts.
You're not stopping them from spending money. You're just stopping them from spending money with you. How's that feel? Listen, if y'all feel a little uncomfortable right now, guess what? I'm trying to make you uncomfortable, because guess what? You don't move unless you're uncomfortable. If you sit there, you're nice and cozy in your little $50,000 a year. I'm nice and cozy in my $50,000 a month. I'm nice and cozy. You're never going to move.
Nope.
You're worth way more than that. Every single one of y'all have way more potential. The problem is a lot of you guys are not in the environment. You don't put yourself in the environment that pushes that greatness to the forefront. Here's what I truly believe. I truly believe that all of us have an elite version of ourselves. We have a way more powerful version of ourselves that's inside of all of us. The problem is most people never meet that version of themselves because they don't put themselves in an environment for that person to come to the top. And that elite version of yourself stays stuck down below your whole entire life. Y'all really got this, but y'all got to believe in yourselves, man. You know, how many of y'all, now that y'all are seeing the results, not just hearing them, you're seeing them with your own eyes, right? And y'all know that this is possible. You got great services. You got great products. Y'all are fired up to run ads. How many of y'all are actually committed to start running some ads, committed to start taking advantage of this incredible tool that is at all of y'all's fingertips? Listen, we're going to get into some Q&A here in a couple of minutes. Krista, do you have a couple of minutes to do some Q&A, or you got to go? Yeah. Okay.
I'm packing. I'm traveling tomorrow.
All right,
I'm packing,
cool.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into some Q&A in a second, but first I want to share with y'all an incredible offer to help y'all really jumpstart this whole new thing that y'all have committed to. An incredible, mind-blowing, face-melting offer that's really going to help a lot of y'all jumpstart y'all's Facebook ads journey on another level and get things going fast. Okay, cool. Hopefully y'all got a lot of value tonight. Hopefully y'all are inspired, but hopefully y'all take action on this stuff, right? That's what we want to see. The biggest way that y'all can thank us is by taking action on this stuff and going out and getting some results, right? So we can spotlight you so that you can go off and inspire more people. That's what it's all about. Let's all help each other, but we can't help each other if we don't take action. Again, thank you so much, Krista, for jumping on and sharing your story with us. You inspired a lot of people today, and I really appreciate you for that.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Get out there and kill it, you guys.
Peace, y'all.
I'll dive into the strategy, and then you could follow that up with Facebook, Instagram, Meta situation. So here's the strategy, and we never share this strategy on a podcast. We've actually never done this before.
This is Right About Now with Ryan Alford, a Radcast Network production. We are the #1 business show on the planet with over 1 million downloads a month. Taking the BS out of business for over 6 years and over 400 episodes. You ready to start snapping necks and cashing checks? Well, it starts right about now.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Right About Now. We're always getting right, and we're always about what works now. Well, you know, that's why we're here today. We got Steven and Steven. We're rich from anywhere. What's up, brothers?
Come on, bro. Come on.
Up? What
Let's
up,
go,
bro?
Ryan.
Hey.
Let's get it. Thanks for
Of
having
course,
us, man.
Glad to have some marketers on the show. You know, we're always talking business, always getting down to business one way or the other. But good to have some fellow marketers in the FLA. What's cooking down in Florida?
Man, we just had Hurricane Milton out here. Hurricane Milton causing destruction and losing power and stuff like that, man. But you know, it's part of the cost of living in Florida. You know, you got to deal with these things.
There's always ways to flip it though. Like one of our clients is actually a auto glass repair shop, right? So we're always finding a way. Hey, look, we just had the hurricane. This is the perfect time to run a campaign. Everybody's glass is shattered out here.
Yeah.
So you know, so.
I see that. And then if you're depressed, you just go get some crumbled cookies. Hey, you gotta tell them, drown your sorrows in some crumbled cookies.
That's it, bro.
Hey, there's always a reason to market. When you go high or low, you know, if the market's bad, you got to double down because everybody else is saving money. You know, and the market's good, you got to go hard because you got to compete. Or if you're doing well, you know, that's the hardest thing is convincing clients that are doing good that they could do great, you know, with better, more marketing. I don't know about you guys. I run into that a lot.
There's always an angle, you know, there's always an angle when it comes to marketing. And that's why like we love marketing is because regardless of the tension or the situation going on in the world, there's always an angle, whether it's good or bad. And if you're good at that stuff, you can thrive in your business. Regardless of what it is that you sell.
Yeah. And we love working with businesses who already have a lot of momentum and a lot of word of mouth and stuff. But I try to get other people to understand that word of mouth is not a marketing strategy, right? Word of mouth is the cherry on top, right? That's the whipped cream. Because the problem is like, if you're relying on other people's mouths, like, well, when other people's mouths stop working, your business stops working. Right. So you need the word of mouth. It's amazing. Right. But you always need to have a lead generation source that you can control. Right. So that you can have the leads and the sales coming on tap. Right. And then let the word of mouth be that whipped cream on top, bro. You know what I mean? So we deal with a lot of really, really successful people who have that organic traffic coming in. But anytime we can throw in some paid ad strategies behind it, it's like it turns into a bonfire.
Oh yeah. It always works from our experience. It always works better. Like we get excited. Like if we get a client or a coach that's already doing really well, for instance, Myron Golden. If we have someone who's already doing well and has data already and they haven't tapped into the marketing yet, man, it goes crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. It's hard to put lipstick on a pig. Let's just call it spade a spade. You know, like marketing. I mean, sometimes you amplify, you know, a bad business. All you're doing is causing grief because they're either not ready to handle it or it's a bad. I mean, it's just hard. Like, and we had to have this discussion sometime. I mean, I'm not somebody that's going to tell you your business is bad, but like, dude, there's no differentiation here, or you don't have something that we can light a fire under. You know. Typically, you think about it. I always use the music, and my producer Sawyer Rice has a cool ass band, and so he'll get this. But like, if you sing good or you play good guitar, you want an amplifier to make it louder. But you know what? If you sing like shit, you don't want to amplify that.
You know what's funny, bro? You're speaking about music. We used to be music artists as well.
Gotta look like, you know, if Rich from Anywhere don't work out, I could see Steven and Steven, you know, doing something. Y'all got the look.
1,000%. That was our life for a long time, bro. For a real long time.
So y'all are singers?
Yeah. So we actually used to be music artists a long time ago. So I'm a recording engineer. We rap, we sing, and like, you know, hey, look, we did it for a long time. I've been writing lyrics since I was like 12 years old. So like the transition into marketing and writing ad copy was a very easy transition, right? Because when you're writing lyrics and writing songs, you're training your brain to speak to the emotions and to to pull that emotion out of people. And it's really not too much different when you're selling something on a sales page, right? You have to hit people in their feels and bring out the emotions, because people buy with emotion and they justify with logic later. So that was kind of an easy transition for us, man. But yeah, we did music for a long time, but the problem is, we were just broke, bro. We were your typical broke music artists out here just struggling, working jobs we hated. Couldn't take care of our family, the whole nine.
But
man.
You know what, man? Like one thing that I do appreciate about the music industry, because I mean, we were deep in the industry. We worked with Grammy Award winners, songwriters, like we were in there. But one thing I really appreciate is the fact that we didn't achieve that success that we wanted, because what that instilled in us was a hunger and a desire to learn how to market more effectively, right? Because if nobody knows who you are, you could be the greatest thing in the world. You could be the greatest thing since sliced bread. But if no one knows that you're amazing, then it doesn't really matter. And we took that to heart. So what we decided to do.
Well, I'm glad you had that perspective, because it pissed me off.
it for real gave me the hunger, because you got to think about it. Like, if you're a grinding artist, the one thing you need to work on is your marketing. Right. And that's one thing that we did a lot. But to his point, we didn't really make any money. So we transitioned to e-commerce, and we created this e-commerce brand. And you know how it is, Shopify, you go on YouTube and you look at these successful Shopify stores, and they're like, oh, I make $100K a month. And you're like, oh, I could do it too. That's easy. And then you just follow these YouTube videos and try to learn ads on your own, and it ends up not working, and you spend all this money. That's our story. Spent all this money, didn't work, finally hired a coach to teach us. And in 7 months, we went from $0 to $209,000. And that's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, but for cats that was super broke, working 2 jobs, couldn't afford to pay rent, that's a lot of money.
At the time,
200K is real money.
Yeah. So, you know, from that point, we ended up selling the brand. We packaged up the assets, sold the brand, but we learned marketing. Like, we learned how to do it because we were in the trenches doing it on our own. And from there, we started acquiring other clients and doing it for them. But segueing it back to music, we realized how amazing ads were. So we infused it into our music. And we actually sold out a few shows in Atlanta, Georgia, because of Facebook ads. And when we did that, that's when we looked at each other and we were like, yo, bro, like, if we could do this for like our music, we could literally do this for any brand, any situation out there. So that was really like that real light bulb moment that told us, yo, we could do this for anybody.
Yeah. Rich from anywhere. Steven and Steven.
That's where it all came from, man. Yeah. And we came up with that name when we were in a really crappy apartment with like roach problems and ant problems, right? So like we were definitely projecting that into our future, like, because it wasn't, we were broke from Atlanta, Georgia. That's where we were. Right? But we were trying to be rich from anywhere.
Yeah, I know. I'd rather be rich from anywhere than broke in Atlanta. I'm only 2 hours from Atlanta. When I'm in Atlanta, I like to have some money. Yeah.
Yes, sir. You got to. You got to.
I was like, I lived in Manhattan and I had some money, and that was fun.
Oh my goodness.
But I wouldn't want to be there broke. I had a lot of employees that are like early in their career. I'm like, damn, I would not want to be suffering here in New York. Like, damn. I mean, because it's like, you got so much to do, but if you ain't got no money, it's like, damn, what you going to do?
There's nothing you can do. You can't do anything.
I know.
Nope.
You know?
So,
and that's kind of how it was for us, man. But no, go ahead.
I mean, I've been in the game a while, and it's been interesting watching sort of the Facebook and the social media spectrum change and grow. I feel like, and you guys obviously are in it day to day, so I look forward, we'll get into some real tactical stuff here. But like, it was like 2010, 2011, you could throw $5 at Facebook and make 500. You know, like it was like, it was crazy. And then I feel like we've gone through this nuance with social media, whether organic or paid. Definitely the organic, train ended a long time ago. But for a lot of things, I mean, you can get viral and all, but let's not play that game. You show me a marketing guy, tell you to go viral, I'll go tell you somebody you need to run from. And I'm not saying you can't do it. I've had clients do it, but I don't sell that shit. It's like,
that's not the aim.
But it's interesting. Like, I'm curious, you guys have kind of gotten in, I think, towards the, you've had to really work for it to figure out what works, because it wasn't 2011 when you guys started doing this, when it was just, oh, anybody could throw it. Now it's gotten what I would call like real marketing. You got to really play the game of earning, how to get in front of people, the right audience, targeting, all that stuff. I mean, what's been your just, before we get to the absolute nitty gritty, just a general perspective of social media marketing the last few years?
Man. Well, yeah. So like when we first started, 2016 is when we really started like really getting serious about Facebook ads. And yeah, that was when your CPMs were really low. You were just got a bunch of bang for your buck. And so it was a lot easier, but you still needed strategy, because like when we first started our first e-commerce store, he told you we went from 0 to 209,000 in about 7 months. But what he kind of brushed over was we spent 3 months and $5,000 of our own money trying to figure out what worked, even back then. So it's not necessarily about time. It's about strategy. Because when we hired that coach to come in and look at our stuff, I'll never forget that in my entire life, because this guy came in, he looked at our ad account and he was like, dude, no wonder you guys aren't making any money. Like, y'all are doing everything wrong. Like, you're not targeting right. You're not using that right words, this and that. So we switched up our strategy, ran the new ad, and we made a sale within 7 hours of the ad launching. So that right there was the switch for me. It was like, you know what? It's not about just working hard at things and just time. It's about doing things the right way. Right. So now it's really not too much different in today's age. You still got to have the right strategy. The thing is, though, the thing that has really changed a lot from my perspective is that the algorithm has changed a lot, and the algorithm has gotten a lot smarter. Right. I mean, bro, it has gotten ridiculously smart. Like, I don't even think people even know how powerful the Facebook ads algorithm really is. Like, that's why we're so gung ho about Facebook and Instagram ads, because it has the best ads platform by far. And the reason why that is because it has more data on its users than any other platform, like literally by a long shot. Right. Mm-hmm. For the people who don't know, Facebook has 52,000 data points on every single profile on Facebook, right? So that means Facebook has 52,000 data points. They know 52,000 things about every single person, right? And I always say this, but like, I couldn't even name you 52 things about myself. Like, it would take me all damn day. And Facebook's out here like knowing 52,000 things. And Facebook on average has about 10 years worth of history on each profile. Right. So that means like imagine if someone was just like stalking someone for 10 years straight, 24/7, like you gave up your entire life to just stalk this one person for 10 years. You think you would know a lot about that person. Mm-hmm. Right. Facebook knows everything about you. Right. And so there's some things about like, and I'll even enlighten your audience if you want, man, like some of these things that Facebook knows about you. Have you ever heard of shadow profiles?
But so for those
of y'all who don't know what a shadow profile is, when you sign up for Facebook on your phone and all this kind of stuff, Facebook is actually pulling in your contacts inside of Facebook too, right? And it's gathering all your data from your contacts. And what it's doing is it's creating shadow profiles on the back end of Facebook. These are not publicly seen Facebook profiles, but they're shadow profiles on the back end. And the reason why Facebook is doing this is because Facebook doesn't just want to know information about you. Facebook wants to know information about your entire network and how your network influences your behaviors and your thoughts and your actions so that it can target you with the right ads. So there's people who come to us and they're like, oh, I'm not on Facebook, so they ain't got my data. I'm like, bro, you got another thing coming. They know about you, bro.
Yes, they do.
So
you know what though, bro? Like, and this speaks to the power of Facebook. Everything that you're saying right now, it speaks to the power of Facebook, because, we come across people and business owners who feel like, oh, I tried Facebook ads once and they didn't work for me. So it doesn't work, right?
If I've heard that once, I heard it 10,000 times.
You already know, bro. So it's like, but what people don't understand is that you have to take into account the cost to acquire a customer. Because a lot of times these people will run these top of funnel ads and they'll stop right there and they'll say, oh, Facebook ads doesn't work, right? But you got to understand that in the Facebook ads game, and especially in e-commerce, about 97% of the people that visit your website the first time aren't going to buy from you anyway. So a lot of times people get discouraged by that and they're like, oh, ads don't work. So they don't
go deeper, right? Once you continue to go deeper and you begin doing the retargeting and messaging that way, right? It changes the game. But a lot of times someone might be like, well, I ran ads one time and I spent $200 and I got 3 customers. So I didn't get a positive ROI out of that, right? But you have to understand that it's not just Facebook ads, right? You have to make sure that you have a certain type of product offering that's going to actually get these people to buy from you over and over and over again, right? Because if I spend $100 to acquire a customer and they spent $20 on a product from me, yes, I'm in the hole initially. But if I have bundle offers on the back end that get them to buy as well, now all of a sudden I'm decreasing the negative ROI. And eventually what's going to happen is if you continue to market via text and email marketing and have your automation set up the right way, over time, they're going to continue to buy from you. And now that ROI is going to turn positive. So it's a holistic approach that people need to take. I love Facebook, and Facebook is amazing because what it does is it introduces new people to your brand. And as long as you can get them into your ecosystem, if you have good products and services and you're marketing correctly, you can make a fortune doing
Yeah, but
stuff.
like, and Ryan, you know this, man. Like, at the end of the day, amateurs, they always focus on the front end results, right? And professionals, they're focused on the back end results. And you've always heard the term, like the company that's willing to spend the most to acquire a customer wins, because they understand, like, look, when I run these ads, yeah, even if your cost per acquisition is a little bit higher than you want it to be, if you got stuff on the back end and you can make that a loyal customer, that's where the money is back here. So shift your focus and understand that Facebook is a customer acquisition tool, right? It's an awareness tool. Use it for what it's supposed to be used for. And then make sure that you have a business model that supports and makes everything work, right? So if Facebook ads don't work for you, I would say it might not be Facebook. It might be your business model that's not working, right?
Yep.
So you gotta look at it that way. And because Facebook gives you all the tools, man, the algorithm, going back to some of the things that it does, it even tracks your movement patterns. So it, like, your phones have sensors inside of them, and Facebook's inside of your phone, and it can detect your movement patterns. So if, like, for instance, if Ryan, he likes to go out and take a walk at 7:00 in the morning and he's got his phone with him, well, his phone can track those movements, and Facebook can detect those patterns throughout the day. And it starts to realize, okay, Ryan likes to walk at 7 in the morning. He likes to work out at 11:00 in the morning, and he's stationary at about 2:00. Okay, so let me run ads to Ryan at 2:00 because that's when he's stationary looking at his phone, right? So, like, the Facebook algorithm, it goes way deeper than people think, and you just got to let Facebook do its thing. I think that's the difference between how it was in 2016 and how it is today. The Facebook algorithm is way smarter, and it's less about targeting now. Right? Because I don't know if you remember, like 2016-ish, like there was all these targeting strategies where you had multiple boxes and you were narrowing things down. It was all intense. Nowadays, dude, the Facebook algorithm's so smart, you don't even need to do that anymore. What you need to focus on now is messaging, right? We always say messaging is the new targeting. So get really, really good at understanding your client, understanding their pain points, speaking to your avatar, and let the algorithm find your person. Right. It's not about targeting. It's more about messaging, and creative. So
I think back to sort of like the business as a whole, working or not working. I mean, so many companies, even like multi-million-dollar companies haven't spent the time, like, even looking like, what's the lifetime value of a customer? Like what, if you sell monthly services, it's one thing, like you said, if it's $1,500 to acquire that customer. But if you sell them something monthly or they get into your CRM and they're now a customer, lifetime value. And so, like, sometimes, I'll be talking with some clients that, they totally get it. And then some clients don't, like, what's LTV? Like, I'm like, come on, man. Like, we got to back up here a minute. We got to do some business strategy. Then we'll do some marketing strategy. Like, but because, what you got to know what it costs to acquire a customer. You got to know what your average lifetime value is. And then you can back your way into what you can afford to pay, to acquire that customer.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah. And so that's a business discussion. I am curious. I got several questions on Facebook specifically, / Meta. It's just so hard. It's so hard. So hard to get.
Bro, I still call it Facebook.
So does 99% of America. I'll come back to why I brought that up. But I take it, you guys have done this long enough. You're spending enough money. You guys are, gurus now, and you've obviously evaluated other platforms to try to do the same thing. I mean, have you guys dabbled in, TikTok or Google ads or programmatic, native type stuff like display? I mean, is it just you always come back to Facebook, or what's been your perspective on other platforms?
Yeah, man. So we've dabbled. So we've dabbled into Google ads, YouTube ads, TikTok ads. We've dabbled into those. Programmatic, we haven't dabbled into at all, really. But with our experience with TikTok ads are great for like lead generation and acquiring more potential customers quicker. It's also great for CPM. Like if you want a really low CPM, go to TikTok because there's less competition over there. So it's going to cost you way less to get the eyeballs on your brand. One of the things that I noticed with TikTok is, and this is from our experience, the quality of customer for us isn't as great as it is with a Facebook platform, right? And TikTok's kind of new, and a lot of kids are on TikTok and stuff like that. So TikTok is a great way to acquire leads and to make money depending on the cost of your product or service, right? I know people who are selling like $250 coaching programs, and they're doing great on TikTok because that's kind of like that audience.
Right. And that's the thing too, is it goes back to, again, the business discussion of knowing your audience, knowing what it is that you're selling, right? So if you're an e-commerce brand selling a $20 product, hey, TikTok will go crazy for you. Right. Yep. It'll smash for you. But, I know you have a lot of high level entrepreneurs watching this podcast. If you're selling $5,000, $10,000, $50,000 programs, TikTok might not be the best place for you to advertise because you're going to get a lot of tire kickers coming in. And then the other thing about the TikTok algorithm you got to understand is just that TikTok's just not as old of a platform. So it just doesn't have as much data on its users. So therefore the algorithm just isn't as smart as Facebook. And again, if we're going to put our marketing dollars somewhere, don't we want to put it where it's best used, right? Don't we want to use the best platform? And I'm not saying that TikTok's not great. It is, but it ain't as powerful as Facebook.
No way.
And then you have Google, which obviously Google is great because it's search based, right? So if people are searching for certain keywords, then they're gonna look for you and they're gonna find you, right? And so, but the thing is, that's great, but you also have to understand that sometimes people, they know what their problem is, so they go off and they search for their problem. But sometimes people have problems that they don't know what the solution is. So how are they going to search for something that they don't know exists?
Yeah.
So you have to have a blend of both, where it's like, hey, if you got people who are looking for you, great, do some Google ads. Although Google ads for us always tend to be a little bit more expensive. All right. So that's another reason why we tend to favor with Facebook. But Facebook is more interruption marketing. So Facebook's going to interrupt people with a solution that they didn't even know existed. And I'm sure it's happened to you. It's happened to me all the time, where literally, like, I have a shoulder issue right now. Like, I was working out and my shoulder, I tweaked it. Right. And somehow Facebook knows that I tweaked my shoulder in the gym.
Yeah, you probably need to search somewhere for
probably, bro, like,
shoulder,
or it's watching me in the garage, like, work out, and he's like, tweak the shoulder. But then, so next thing I know, I'm getting hit with these red light therapy products.
Bro,
right?
Me too, bro. Like literally every day.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I didn't know red light therapy was a solution to that problem.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm over here wondering how I can fix my shoulder issue. And so Facebook ads is a way for you to interrupt people with the solution that they're looking for that they don't know existed. So it's just another perspective, man.
And that's why we choose Facebook over those other platforms. Now, I will say TikTok, we run TikTok ads as well, and it's good for certain things. But if you want to find like quality people, from our experience, Facebook ads is where it's at. And for the high level entrepreneurs listening, if I were to suggest a place to start with your ads journey, if you're really trying to acquire more higher ticket customers or higher ticket clients, I would definitely start with Facebook first, because it's very easy to use too. Facebook ads are not difficult. They're very easy to use. And now with Facebook and AI, it makes everything so much easier to the point where people aren't even targeting anymore. People are literally not putting in targets when they're running ads. They're not telling Facebook what type of people they're trying to target. They're literally just focused on the messaging, getting their messaging right, speaking to a particular customer, a specific customer, and they're running ads like that, and they're still doing well. So Facebook is where it's at, man.
Talking with Steven Johnson and Stephen Blackburn. Rich from anywhere. Rich RFA. Rich from anywhere. I get RFA. I like acronyms. You know, RF
Yes.
Team RFA.
Some of the most successful companies have that three word acronym.
Yes. Hey, power of threes. That's a marketing.
That's
thing.
it.
It's kind of like, you know, even in the Bible, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, you know, they were the first.
Come on, bro.
So
Come on. Right about now.
it ain't accidental, buddy.
Come on, man.
You know what? One of my marketing, I have like a mentor. You know, I like to say I'm the mentor, you know, but I do have one mentor. His name's Christopher Lockhead. He said, he who owns the problem becomes the solution. So you frame the problem. He who owns the problem becomes the solution. So you don't have to,
100.
you know, we can talk about brand and all your features all day, but you got to talk about the customer's problem and own the problem so that you become the solution. Because
that's big.
Yeah. So
that's really big, bro. Yeah. Cause I mean, at the end of the day, like I think a lot of people struggle with selling products, and they do that because of the thing that you just said, right? They're out here trying to sell their products. They don't understand that people don't care about their products. Like, listen to me right now, guys, everybody listening. No one cares about your product. No one cares about your service either, right? You think anyone comes to us and they care about Facebook ads, or they care about like our logo and what RF? Like, no one cares at all. The only thing they care about is, can you help me get more customers? Yes or no? Yeah. Can you help me streamline my business and automate it more so I'm not pulling my hair out every single day, right? Can you help me with those problems? And so like the whole thing about, you know, sell the hole, not the drill. And too many people are out here selling the drill, and they wonder why no one's buying their stuff. Well, they don't want the drill. The only thing they care about is the hole that the drill produces. Yeah. So understand that is, and sell that instead. Yeah. And everything will change.
Stop worrying about yourself and how cool you are and how you look and how amazing this product is and all the little trinkets that it has and all of that stuff. And start focusing on why these people actually want that product and add that to your messaging. Yeah. You got to tie them in emotionally. It's funny. We both recently bought new homes, and I was dead set on a price, right? I told my wife, I was like, yo, we're not going above this price for the house. I don't care what this lady says when we go in here. I am not spending more than this, right? And I told her that. I get in there, and she's trying to get me to do an add-on and add some brick to the front and get a lake view. And I would like literally before I could went in there, I'm like, I'm not doing this, babe. I'm telling you right now. No. Right. And she comes in and she's like, well, you know, it's going to look so nice on the lake when you can watch your kids just play on the lake. And, you know, it's going to be all nice and breezy. And then when you walk up to the front of the house, that's such a homey vibe. She literally didn't even talk about the feature of just having the lake view. She talked about the emotions that I would have by acquiring that thing. And guess what I did? I bought it. Yeah. I went above my price just because she got me emotionally tied to the product or to the product and service, right? So yeah, it's true.
So be careful. Like, by the way, this stuff, be careful like who you share this insight with, right? You start sharing this insight on how to sell with your wife or with your husband, like they're going to start selling you on stuff.
Well, hey, happy wife, happy life. I think Stephen Johnson got that right. Whether it was a realtor or not, I know that was real. I wrote the book on how to fuck it up and how to get it right. I got both editions. Edition 1, everything not to do. Edition 2, how to get it right. Oh shit! Hey, it's you ain't selling ads. You're selling 12 more rounds of golf this year because you ain't got to fuck with ads because you get it right. You know, like You're selling the benefit. You know, more birdies, less business.
1,000%. Right. We're selling the, you know, take out the stress of like having to like, you know, rely on agencies that a lot of them don't care about your success. Now, not all agencies. There are some boutique agencies out there that do amazing results and get.
Ryan got a good agency.
Ryan got a popping agency, but I'm telling you right now, like, we've heard thousands of horror stories of people hiring agencies that didn't get them results, wasted their money, and then they put them on a 6-month retainer, a contract, and then they left 6 months and they got no results. They spent, you know, 40, 50 grand, got nothing. And then the problem with all that is, because we have no problem investing 40,000, 50,000 into our business. We do stuff like that all the time. The problem is when you spend 40,000, 50,000 and you still don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yep.
Right? That's not an investment. That was just a waste of money. So all that could have been saved by just being educated on how ads work. Know what questions to ask your agency when you're thinking about hiring them, right? And so that you know that they're legit. And so that they can't pull the wool over your eyes. And even if you do hire that agency, well, now if you're educated, you can go into their ad account and look at the strategies they're using and kind of keep a thumb on the pulse at least, right? Because if you don't do that, you're just asking to get taken advantage of.
Yeah, your business will flatline. Like, I can't tell you how many people come to us from the agency world, right? And they've hired a bad agency. And what happens is, just like you said, they hire them for 6 months. They spend all this money. Business stops working. They decide to empower themselves. And they're like, yo, I'm going to fire my agency because my business is about to get popping again, right? So they get off this courage. They fire their agency. And then the business literally tanks. And the business tanks simply because they weren't educated on the marketing piece themselves. So they couldn't even replicate what the agency was doing anyway. So now they're in a very bad situation. And that's typically when they come this way. So not saying don't hire an agency, but if you are going to hire an agency, educate yourself a little bit or learn this stuff first, right? Get some momentum going, make a little bit of money. And then when the clients and the influx of sales start coming in and it's too much for you, then go holler at Ryan and be like, yo, I can't handle this anymore. I want hands off, and do it like that.
And Ryan, wouldn't you agree that it's better to work with an educated client?
Oh God, look,
right?
Look,
because
I'm going to jump in. I wish we only work with clients at a certain level. There's a lot of clients that hire agencies too early at the wrong time. And my best clients are educated and like in marketing and know like enough, because the ones that cause the most work for us are less sophisticated and don't really understand what we're doing. So we're answering a lot of questions, even if what we're doing is working right, you know, this just gets into there. But I'm a firm believer that you need to be at a certain level before you even hire it. Like, we just don't even get in that camp because it's a lose-lose. I'm not in this for 4-month customers, you know, like, and if I am, and we have packages where I'll hire me to consult with you for 3 months, you know, and I'll teach you, give you all the keys to the car. I'd rather do that with a smaller or medium-sized client than them hire us, use all our resources, not get the results that they wanted because they don't spend enough, or there's not nuance enough, or it's like we can't do enough. And so believe me, that's why I wanted to have you guys on the show, because there's a lot of education needs to happen, and not every client should be working with an agency. And it's
exactly,
it's
1,000%.
And there's this assumption that you can, I don't know, hire your way to success, you know, with certain things, but it's just not the case when you're scaling and at a certain size. You've got to, and the tools now, and this is what I want to delve into with you guys, you know, some of the specifics of using the platforms and the AI and that kind of stuff. You know, the tools now aren't so, I don't know, it can be overwhelming, but they're manageable. And people need to learn how this stuff works at the very least, if not do it themselves.
Yes. Well, everything that's worth learning has a learning curve, you know, so you got to understand that don't be afraid of a learning curve. That just means you're learning something that's worth learning. Right. And yes, of course, like Facebook ads and all these different things, they have a learning curve. But I'll tell you what, if you want to shorten that learning curve, get yourself a mentor, dude. Get yourself a coach, right? Don't be an idiot. Don't be out here like trying to do everything by yourself looking for free stuff. Like I think looking for free stuff is what keeps people broke, because looking for free stuff all the time is an energy.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And it's an energy you're putting out into the world. You're constantly looking for free. Well, all you're doing is you're attracting people who also looking for free. And you wonder why you're broke.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good, man.
Stop looking for that. And instead look for the hack because every successful person knows that mentorship is the hack, right? It's not a secret. Like, why would I try to like learn Facebook ads for 10, like, why would I try to spend 10 years of my life when I can just pay this guy a couple $1,000s and he can just show me in a matter of weeks? Like, one time, one of our mentors told me one time, look, if you want to really scale your business and be successful, never, ever, ever spend your time trying to save money. Always spend your money so you can save time. Because once you spend your time, you never get it back. It's gone forever. But when you spend your money, you can actually get it back, and you can double it, triple it, quadruple it, 10x it, 100x it, right? And so find yourself a coach, and it's not that hard is what we're trying to say is when you have the right guidance and someone showing you step one, step two, step three, right? And they're with you and showing you in a way that's like easy to understand. And that's what I think one of our superpowers is being able to take complex subjects and make them very like easy to understand, right? Because I believe a good coach is a condenser, right? Coaches are condensers. Coaches are people who can take complex subjects and break them down so that a second grader can understand it, right? And not overcomplicate it. And then you walk away feeling empowered. You feel you have clarity. And when you have clarity in your business, that's where all the creativity gets sparked, and you get hopeful again, and you get excited about your business. And when you have overwhelm and confusion, that's when you're just like, oh, the hell with this. I'm not doing any of this. Like,
well, you know what it is too. It's this thing in our heads, right? I like to say too much thinking leads to your ship sinking, right? And a lot of times if people don't have the guidance or the roadmap laid out for them on the next steps to do, they get in their head and they start thinking to themselves, oh, well, I kind of want to do this, but I kind of want to do that too. Or I started this and I think maybe I should go here next, but there's all these other options here. So I'm kind of confused. I don't know what to do. And then they just stay in that same exact spot, right? But here's the thing, like we like to model our business off of other successful businesses, right? Because if the multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar brands are doing it, then you need to do it too. So one of the biggest things that these successful billionaire CEO entrepreneurs, one of the biggest things that they have in common, like Elon Musk, right? Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, like all of these successful entrepreneurs, the one thing that they have in common is that they're great thinkers. Yes. They're the greatest minds in the world. Yes. But they have the ability to stop thinking when it's time. They literally have the ability to shut down their brilliant mind, stop thinking, and execute, right? They have the ability to do that. Elon Musk just landed a rocket that came from space and it landed on this container thing, right? You can't do that if you're too caught up in your thoughts. You have to be able to execute. And what's even crazier, we're big into law of attraction, metaphysics, manifestation, stuff like that. So for those of y'all listening that are into like meditation and prayer and things like that, there's this state of being called God consciousness, right? It's the state of being, right? And everyone has the ability to achieve a God-like consciousness. Now, the way to do that, I don't know if you follow Dr. Joe Dispenza or not, but we're big into Dr. Joe Dispenza. But anyway, the way to achieve God consciousness is to literally stop thinking. Don't think about anything at all. When you're in a meditative state, Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it attracting nothing, basically. And it's basically where you're just in a still state. That's God consciousness. But when you get to that consciousness, that's when the ability to do anything you want opens up. Literally, the ability to do anything you want. Anything that you want, you now have access to because you're still now. You're not thinking. So it is very important for entrepreneurs that are listening that might get caught up in their thoughts and might not know which way to go. It is very important to quiet it down a little bit and start executing. And the best way to do that is by finding a mentor, someone who can guide you and hold your hand through the process and actually give you the roadmap that you need so that you're not thinking and going left and right and not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, at the end of the day, success loves speed, right? Every successful person, when I see them, they see an opportunity. They don't just sit on it; they get on it, right? They move fast, and also like your pace. Like there's so many like sayings of say like your pace determines your place, right? Like move. Like it's so funny because like so many people want success to come fast to them, but then they move slow, and it's like. Well, that scientifically doesn't even make any sense. Like, how do you expect success to come to you fast if you're moving slow? Like, I would say the biggest thing that I try to get people to do is to get them action, get them taking action, get them moving, right? When you see an opportunity, when you hear that voice in your head, when you feel that inclination to like, I should do this thing, start training yourself to move on it fast and watch what happens to your life, right? Don't just think on, like, just get on it, man. And then watch what happens in your life. It's just so crazy, man. But I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, people like, they don't have to do it, but I'm just saying what's worked for us and what's worked for so many other people, man. Yeah. Just start moving on this stuff. Like even like listening to us right now, we're telling you how amazing Facebook ads is, right? Ryan's telling you how amazing all of these different strategies are and how life-changing they are. And we're giving you facts and proving proof. Like when we have so many case studies and all of us together, like so much proof, we don't need any more proof, right? You need more action, right? Don't just listen to a podcast like this, get all pumped up on information and then have no implementation, right? I think that's what we're really, really lacking in this world is implementation. We got enough information. We need some more execution. Yeah. Right.
Yes. Hope is not a strategy. So last 5 minutes, guys, talk some tips for out there. We're obviously not going to teach Facebook ads in 5 minutes, but maybe, like some of the nuts and bolts that you guys get in with clients. Obviously, I don't know that anyone's going to just jump from this episode and jump in the Facebook ads manager and be a pro, but and then so that I wanted to hear some perspective from you guys for how to people to start to take that step. Obviously, we'll have some call to actions for how they can learn from you guys, but that and then differentiate for the audience. We're saying Facebook/Meta, Instagram. When we say Facebook, are we talking about Instagram? Are we talking about Facebook?
No, we're talking about Facebook and Instagram.
And that's kind of where my Meta thing was, all by Meta.
I'll dive into the strategy and then you could follow that up with Facebook, Instagram, Meta situation. But one strategy, so here's a strategy, and we never share this strategy on a podcast. We've actually never done this before on a podcast.
But right about now first. Ding, 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 ding.
Yep. That's a hook right there too, by the way. Now everybody's paying attention. But no, like if y'all are listening and y'all are in a position where it's like, dang, I have traffic coming to my site, but no one is converting. Like, what is going on? Why aren't people buying from me? We have a strategy called the Hot 30 strategy. All right. And the way that this works is it's designed to build your brand awareness like nothing else. Okay. We run this strategy now. And when we do, it's really crazy. We started doing it a few years ago, but when we started doing this, we would be taking sales calls with potential clients and we'd be like, hey, what's going on? This is Rich from Anywhere. And literally on the other side of the phone, all I hear is screaming like, oh my God, I can't believe it's you. This is crazy. Like literally like fanning out over RFA. Right. And we don't have we have like 15,000 followers on IG. So we don't have a huge brand, but I'm just telling you that because this strategy works. So pay attention to this. All right. So what you want to do now, obviously you have to get into Ads Manager to run this play, but I'm just going to talk as if you're already in Facebook ads and you just want to learn this strategy. So what you do, number one, is you want to create omnipresence, right? So you want to be retargeting people that have visited your brand in any aspect, meaning you want to retarget people who have visited your website over the last 30 days. You want to retarget people who have visited your Instagram in the last 30 days. And you want to retarget people who have visited your Facebook page in the last 30 days. You take all three of those audiences, and that's the audience that you're going to target inside of your Facebook ad. Now, the objective that you're going to choose for this ad is going to be a video view objective. Okay. So now you have your audience, you have your objective. The last part is the actual creative. So for the creative or the visual that you're going to use, you're going to find clips of you being interviewed on, let's say, a podcast, right? Like this podcast. You're going to find clips of you being held in a higher regard, whether it's you being maybe there's a feature of you on a magazine or a news channel, or there's a podcast interview. Anything that you're doing that postures yourself in the place of being in authority, you want to use those visuals to retarget these people. Okay. Now, that's the first campaign you're going to do. Campaign number 2, you're going to use the same audiences, those 3 audiences, the website viewers, the Instagram viewers, and the Facebook viewers. This time you're going to change the objective. So this time you're going to do a traffic objective with this ad, right? So you have your traffic objective, you have your audience. The last thing left is the visual. You're going to use the same exact visuals, the visuals that are going to put you in the space of being an authority. Same visuals, same ad copy, all of that. So let's zoom out real quick. So what you have here is you have a campaign that's optimized for video views. Then you have another campaign that's optimized for traffic. Okay. You're sending them to the same videos. Now the question becomes, why would I run the same ad with different objectives? Now here's why. Remember earlier we talked about how Facebook has 52,000 data points on each person that's using the platform, right? So Facebook knows the times of day when they need to be targeting you. One of those 52,000 data points is them knowing that at 3 p.m. Eastern time, Ryan likes to watch videos on Facebook. So if they know that, then at 3 p.m. Eastern time, that's when they're going to hit Ryan with that particular ad. They also know that at 7 p.m. is when Ryan likes to click links, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to deliver that traffic campaign to Ryan when he likes to click links. So what you're getting now is you're getting Facebook to target these people at specific times of the day when Facebook knows that they're more likely to interact with that objective that you chose. So what happens is you let this run. You spend $2, $3 a day. You let this run. You keep interchanging out the videos that you're using over time. And what begins to happen is now anyone that visits your website, Instagram, Facebook, they're going to continue to get hit with things that are putting you in the space of being an authority. And what's going to happen is they're going to eventually decide to book a call with you. They're going to decide to buy from you, but they're going to also turn into someone who might be moderately interested in you to someone who can potentially become a raving fan. So that's our Hot 30 strategy.
And so the thing about that strategy too is that you don't need a lot of budget to make that happen, right? You can literally run that at like $1 a day, $2 a day, maybe, because the people that you're retargeting, it's not going to be hundreds of thousands of people. You're probably talking maybe thousands of people at the max, right? So you can get away with that with a very, very small budget and just have that running all the time. And that's how you create that omnipresence. And because like what they say, it's out of sight, out of mind, right? If they don't see you, they're not thinking about you. Out of sight, out of mind. And if you're out of mind, then you're out of pocket, right? So you need to make sure that people are seeing you all the time because perspective is everything. And you can run that play in so many different ways.
How often do you spread apart the first to the second? Like, do you have them, you immediately set them up at the same time, or you do one for
same time?
Same time, yeah, the exact same time, just a different objective.
Yep, yeah. Exactly. Okay. Exactly. And so you can run this play with like a Hot 30, like he just said, which is more kind of a broad approach, but you can also do a very, very specific, what we call journey retargeting. Let's say you have people going into a lead magnet and you know that lead magnet is going to pull them into an email opt-in and it's going to throw them into an email sequence for 2 weeks. Well, what you can also do is as soon as those people opt into your lead magnet, you can pull them into a custom audience, a 2-week custom audience, and you can now run ads side by side, basically parallel with your email sequence. So now for the 2 weeks, people are not only coming in, they're getting emails and text messages and all this stuff, but they're also seeing ads that are relevant to your lead magnet for those 2 weeks as well, right? And you can run this play. Guys, I don't even know if y'all even understand how powerful this is, right? But again, when we're saying this stuff, get creative with the way that you use it, because there's a lot of different ways you can do it with webinars, with challenges, with lead magnets, with any kind of like brand awareness play that you're trying to run. But when you do that, it's going to just increase the effectiveness of anything that you're trying to do. So I don't know.
Call it the Tom A. top of mind awareness.
Come on. Come
Tom
on.
A play.
I like that.
Talk to me. I mean, so when we talk Facebook though, you guys, obviously Facebook will place it where you need to, but it might be Facebook, it might be Instagram, but do you let the algorithm figure out where it wants to target those people, or do you go Instagram only, or do you let it? Yeah.
We always, in the beginning, we want to split test both, right? Because a lot of people think that they know where their audience is, but a lot of times you might be wrong, right? So never make decisions based off your own opinion or your emotions. Always make data-driven decisions. So we would recommend just letting the placements just go, right? And then letting Facebook figure out what the best is. Now, it's most likely always going to be the feed, right? Like you got right column, you got stories, you got marketplace, you got all this stuff. Most of the time it's going to split test everything at first, but then it's going to say, the feed is where it's at. So you'll notice most of your money is going to get spent delivering your stuff in the feed. But in terms of which placement, Facebook or Instagram, I would definitely split test because you don't know where your audience is until you test.
Yep. Test. Got to look at the data and it will tell you where to go.
Everything that's not a test is a guess at best.
You guys got all the names, all the acronyms. I thought I had a lot.
We used to be writers, man.
Oh, hey guys, I love it. A lot of action here, a lot of good advice. Where can everybody learn more about everything you guys are up to?
Absolutely, man. So if you guys want to go to richfromanywhere.com, check out our website, man. We have tons of different courses that you guys can, if you guys are just getting started, hop into those courses. They'll blow your mind. We have different challenges that you guys can join. If you're more of a high level entrepreneur, you already have some momentum, you got some things going and you want to take things to a whole nother level really fast, you can actually request a call, request to speak with us. You can go to the contact and just request a call. We'll sit down, see where you're at, see how we can help you and have a nice little convo. But yeah, Rich from Anywhere on all platforms. Check us out. Hit us up. We're not bougie. We respond to everybody.
Yes. We don't want to be broke anywhere. We want to be rich from everywhere. Yes. Appreciate you guys. Steven.
Likewise, man.
And
thank you so much, bro. Appreciate you having us.
Hey guys, you know to find us, ryanisright.com. You'll find all the highlight clips from today, links to these guys' programs, and of course, link to all of our sponsors. Hey, go give them some love. Brandon Bill's been taking care of us. You go take care of them. You know how this works. We'll see you next time, or right about now.
All right, and we are back. Man, that was a powerful video. I hope you really took some notes on that one. And listen, what do you want to do in 2025, right? What are some of the results that you want to get? Well, I'm sure if you're listening to this video and you're watching this, you want to take your results to another level. But you got to understand what actually produces results. One of the biggest things that produces results in your life and in my life and everyone's life is our habits. The things that you do on a daily basis will create the results that you get in your life, right? Your output is just a reflection of your input. So if you want to change your results, change your habits. Now, the next question is, well, how do I change my habits? What's the best way for me to develop better habits? Right? Well, one thing that we say all the time is your habitat is where you create your habits at. So ultimately, if you want to change the results that you get in your life, change your habitat, change your environment. It's the most important thing that you could do for your business, for yourself, for your family. The types of people that you hang around, you've heard all these things before, right? You are the average of the 5 people that you hang around the most. I guarantee you, if you look at your phone, and you scroll through and you look at the 5 people that you talk to the most, I can guarantee you are an average. You're somewhere in the middle of all those people in terms of financial success, health, in any area of your life, right? You are the average of the 5 people that you're hanging around and talking with the most. So if that is the case, well, you just need to focus on getting around better, more quality people, right? Us as humans, we have this way of just blending in with our environment, adapting to our environment. That's just the way that it is. That's why, you see lawyers hanging out with other lawyers and doctors hanging out with other doctors and homeless people hang out with other homeless people, right? That's the way that it is, right? The proof is everywhere. You just got to open your eyes and see it. So one of the most important things that you guys can do is just get around a group of people who are on another level, smarter than you, doing the things that you want to do, have the life that you want to have. Just get around those people and let everything else just fall into place. A lot of people, they get discouraged because they're like, man, I want to ask great questions, but I don't know the questions to ask. Or man, I want to kill it in my business, but I'm just not motivated. I don't know where to get the motivation, right? Or I want to market better, but I just don't have the clarity. Here's the thing, guys. Join a mentorship program. Join an environment. Get in the room, and the questions will develop. Get in the room, and the clarity will develop. Get in the room, and the motivation will come out. Like, it will develop, right? You don't have to worry about those things. Just get in the room and let all those things become clear to you as you move forward, and just getting in an environment that supports that, right? If you're trying to do this all by yourself without any help and without any assistance and any guidance and no accountability, well, you can just expect the same thing that happened last year to happen again next year. All right, let's get into the next video.
It's easier to make $100,000 in 1 month than it is to make $100,000 in 1 year.
What?
Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably thinking, wait, how is that possible? How is this even a thing? I'm gonna show you right now. But before I do, you wanna be sure to share this video with fellow entrepreneurs that are struggling or that want some insight on how to scale their brand and take it to the next level. You're also gonna wanna like this video and subscribe to our channel, because we are always dropping gems for y'all that y'all can take to level up your business. You can literally go through this channel right now and you can find videos that are gonna help you to make 6 and 7 figures per year, all right? So take some action. Now, back to what I was saying. It's a lot easier to make $100,000 in 1 month than it is in 1 year. I know a lot of times we think that we gotta work extra hard over a long period of time to get these amazing results, but I'm here to tell you that that's not truly the case, all right? Check this out. So this is you, the little stick figure man right there, that's you. This hard-working entrepreneur that's out here grinding, hustling. There's probably not enough hours in the day for you to get everything done that you need to get done, right? The issue is not that you are working too hard. You are actually overworking yourself right now. Look at this, like, you're the stick figure and you're trying to walk to your destination of 100K, and that's why it's taking you 1 year to do that. It's because you're trying to walk. When it comes to transportation, walking is always going to take you longer, and it's also going to expend more energy getting there. So now let's say you've been doing this for the past few years and you are just worn down, and you will do anything to figure out a way to crack the code and make this type of money quicker. So let's say you start working smarter. Once you start getting smarter, you start to realize, yo, instead of walking to my destination, I could use a car and get to my destination, right? Same destination, except this time I'm using a car, which is going to get me there quicker. So now you start doing this and you start to realize how much easier it is to leverage a car instead of leveraging your own feet, right? Because the time period for you to get to your particular goal is a lot shorter when you use the car. So now all of a sudden you're starting to work smarter in your business. You decide to use a car, and because of that, it takes you 6 months now to get to that 100K. Now we're moving in the right direction, but because you're a hungry entrepreneur, you are not going to settle for making 100K in 6 months. That's just not enough for you. You know there's more. So you start diving deeper and trying to find other ways to make your business flow seamlessly and a lot easier. So then what you discover is, yo, if I just get an airplane and take this airplane to my destination, I'm going to get there even quicker. And instead of me getting there in 6 months, it's now going to take me 3 months to get to that same destination of 100K. So now you're all excited. That momentum is growing. That momentum is coming back. You're able to spend more time with your family and friends because you've begun to crack the code on how to truly operate your business. So now it's taking you 3 months to hit that 100K. But because you're ambitious and because you're rocking with RFA and you're learning these techniques and these leverage plays, you're now thinking to yourself, wait a minute, if I can do it in 3 months, I can for sure get there in 1 month. What's the difference between 3 months and 1 month? Absolutely nothing, except a little more leverage. So you're like, okay, so you mean to tell me if I turn my business into a jet, now I can use that jet and I can get to that destination in 1 month. In 1 month, you can be making $100,000 with way less work. Think about this. Walking to your destination is going to take you the longest amount of time, and it's going to expend the most amount of energy. A lot of y'all watching this video are trying to walk to your destination, and that's why it's taking you so long, because you're doing all of this work. You're doing all of this manual labor and you're drained. You're worn out. Can't seem to crack the code. You don't have time to spend with your family. I'm here to tell you right now that it's not the fact that you're working too hard. It's the fact that you're not using the correct vehicle to get you to your destination. The vehicle that you need to use to get to your destination is the jet. The jet will get you there the quickest. The jet will get you there while your feet are kicked up. You let the jet do all the heavy lifting while you're super comfortable in there. You're enjoying time, spending time with your family. But because you've utilized leverage and you've utilized the right vehicle within your business, now you can get to that destination a whole lot quicker with less amount of work. Now, that amazing vehicle, that private jet that goes super duper quick, that's gonna get you to your destination as quick as possible, is actually two things that you're not optimizing within your business, and that's ads and automation. These two things, when done correctly, can turn into that vehicle that takes you from having a 100K year to a 100K record month. Focus on your automations, your text blasts, your email blasts. Focus on your ads, because your ads open you up to millions and millions of new people that have never heard of your brand before. Now, if you want to learn more about ads and automation, all you got to do is subscribe to this channel. We have plenty of videos that break down the process of how to make this thing work, and we're going to continuously drop more gems on you that you can actually use right now to blow up your brand. All right, now if you found this video valuable, please go ahead and share this, subscribe to our channel, and like this, because it helps our channel to get out more to the masses so that we can help more people. With that being said, we're out of here. Peace and love.
If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, that don't mean it's gonna work. You gotta switch it up.
People feel like making money is hard, and it's not really hard. You just need the right vehicle to get there.
When you do hire people, when you do get coaches, when you do get agencies, don't just allow them to take your product or your brand and go do with whatever. Actually take it and watch what they're doing. Pay attention to what they're doing. Learn it.
You probably know like different fashion brands. They are texting you every other day. You gotta understand that there's only one reason and one reason only why they're doing that.
Yeah.
It's because it.
Welcome back to another episode of Wealthy Creator Podcast. I am your host, Justin Berry, and today I got a good one coming for you all. I got some guys, I'm currently finishing up WealthCon, and they came through, showed support, gave a lot of support to our community, and I got them here sitting with me today, Steven from Rich From Anywhere.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, fellas?
What's happening?
Great, man. It's a pleasure to be out here. Pleasure to see this operation that y'all got going, man. The WealthCon has been crazy.
That's
bro.
awesome.
It's
bro.
crazy out here. Yeah, I didn't know it was this crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to get in the room, and being in the energy is crazy. It's different.
Absolutely, man. And we're gonna get into getting in the room and how important that is to your brand and to your marketing. These guys are experts. They're doing their thing. They're coaching. They're helping other individuals grow in that space. And so I just want to tell a little bit about what you do and how you became partners a little bit, and let people know what you got going on.
Oh man, it's been a long time. We've been rocking for about 15 years now, and we actually got into coaching because we started out as music artists, and you know how it is. Everybody thinks that they're the next Drake or the next J. Cole or whoever it is. Everybody thinks that they're that.
Yeah.
We knew that we was that.
Okay.
We would have went triple platinum. Trust me. We would have
Okay.
went triple platinum. But here's what happened. We were broke.
Yeah.
We didn't have any money. And so we decided to create this e-commerce brand to start making some money to fund our music career. Like that was the whole plan. And what ended up happening was started the e-commerce brand, spent about $5K in marketing, made no money.
Wow.
No sales at all. Tried to aimlessly run ads. That didn't work
in
out.
the red right away, huh?
In the red right away.
We thought
bro.
we were broke before. We were real broke now.
Yeah, for real. So we ended up doing that, created the e-commerce brand, started out very bad. Long story short, though, we ended up figuring out how to run ads effectively, market effectively, and we ended up doing about $250,000 in about 7 months or so.
Oh, wow.
Right? So that was really good. But in the midst of that, we learned a lot about marketing, a lot about ads, a lot about those things. And from that, we actually exited the business. We sold the business, made a little bit of money there. And we did continue to do music, but from there we decided to shift towards coaching and helping others.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of the genesis of how it started.
Yeah. No, I mean, we were sharing before the podcast. I started off filming some music videos when I first got going, friends of mine and people of the neighborhood. And I started doing that, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of harder than what I'm really wanting to work for here.
Yep.
You start to realize that some of your favorite artists, your favorite celebrity, an individual that's trying to come up in your city doesn't have everything that it looks like he has or she has, right? And so I had to learn ways of communicating well enough in negotiations to make sure it works. I can totally relate to
Yes, sir.
the music industry and what you all experience, because it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, man. It's a lot of finessing that goes on in that industry.
It was crazy. And you know, the part of the journey that was kind of the light bulb moment for us, if you will, is we spent $5,000 on ads, didn't make no sales.
Yeah.
And then he said how we went from 0 to $250,000 in 7 months. But the reason why we were able to do that is because we found a mentor who taught us the right way.
Okay.
Right. And he literally, and I'll never forget it, right? Because we literally spent 3 months, $5,000, no sales.
Wow.
Then we paid a mentor. He said, all right, here, this is how you do it. And I'll never forget this because we literally went home that same night, implemented the strategy that he told us, and we made a sale within 8 hours of the ad launching.
Wow.
Literally, we woke up
just like that,
and we made our first sale. And I'll never forget it. It was like, remember that?
Bruh,
like,
it was crazy.
Like,
it was crazy.
We woke up in the morning and it was like a $20 sale. Like, it wasn't nothing. Like, we weren't rich, but it was, what it did was it validated that this is actually true. It actually works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so what I want, what I got from that is that when it comes to success online, bro, it really has nothing to do with time.
Mm-hmm.
It has everything to do with your strategy. Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, that don't mean it's going to work.
No,
you got to switch it up. And if you have somebody, kind of teach you, it speeds it up, No,
that's really good. And I think that's like, it makes you want to help other people when you experience it in that way. And I understand like why you all are coaches. It's the same for me, right?
Yeah.
Like when I actually helped my first person get their first kind of like blow up video and viral video, you kind of like, okay, I want to do that again.
Yeah.
And even though it's not like, I wasn't necessarily doing it for me,
right?
It felt good seeing the result that people were getting from doing it.
And from anybody like on the outside looking in might think like, oh, y'all are just saying that. But no, it's the truth.
It's real.
And when you really start making money and you start to realize, okay, well, great, I got money. At first it was like cool, that's the end result.
Yeah.
But then as you start to make more money, you realize like, oh, well, that's not really the end result. It feels way better helping other people make money.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
it's
that's
very gratifying.
Yeah,
it's real gratifying. And one thing we like to say is that we change lives for a living. Like that's our tagline.
I like that.
Because like you said, it is like the money's good, but it's better to change lives. It's a lot more gratifying, you know? And by the way, for the second question you asked, what we do, we actually have a marketing mentorship company.
Okay.
We're called Rich From Anywhere. Obviously you said that, but our marketing mentorship company, our main focus is helping online entrepreneurs get to the next level, get more eyeballs on their brand through Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Instagram ads, as well as lead generation. Leads are really big, automations, email flows, all of those type of things. So that's what we help our students with. And, we have some successful students in our program that are absolutely crushing it. And it feels good. It feels good to be able to do that.
Yeah. So tell me more about that though, right? Like, is it a do it for you? Are you helping people and actually doing it for them? Or are you just coaching on what to do?
It's a great question. So actually we started as an ad agency, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we started with the done for you model where it's like, hey, hire us. We'll run your ads for you. Yeah. And, we were getting good results there, but it's not as gratifying, to be able to actually teach someone is a lot more gratifying. Cause here's the thing, like you can hire an agency and I'm not going to poo poo agencies or anything.
I was going to do it with you, but okay.
So like agencies are cool, but here's the issue with agencies. With an agency, you as an entrepreneur, you don't know if you're hiring the right agency. Yes, you can look at reviews and those type of things, but if you don't actually know marketing, then how do you really expect to hire the right agency to rock with?
Right.
It's virtually impossible.
Yeah.
So, a lot of our students come to us from that world of being burnt from an agency because they spent all this money with the agency. And initially they feel like, it's a good thing. But as the months go on, they're spending, $5K a month on these agencies. They're $15K in the hole and they're not seeing the results. Mm-hmm. So they end up firing their agency. But then here's what happens. When they fire their agency, they're back to square one because they didn't learn anything along the process. So it's like my business literally stops. So that's when they come to us like, yo, I want to get educated now because when I get educated, now I can control my business. Now, once they learn it, they can't unlearn it. Right. Like we have students right now. One of our students, she came to us in 2020, right? That was about 4 years ago. Came to us in 2020, making $900 a month. All right. And she hated her job, really wanted to change things, and she had this online boutique. So she comes to us like, hey, I'm making $900 a month.
I need some help. I have these goals and aspirations, you know, all of that stuff, right?
Mhm.
She comes to us. We do a few sessions with her, coach her up. And within 6 months, she got to 50K. Okay. 50K per month.
Yeah.
All right. Now, here's the part where it gets good. Because yes, 50K per month is great, but it's about sustaining that.
Yeah, exactly.
It is now 2024, 4 years later, and she's still doing 50 to 60K per month.
Okay.
Why? Because she actually learned the thing. So now she can actually control her business and do the things that we taught her back 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think that should be the goal of yours as a coach.
Yeah.
Right? Like we all have had coaches in some area at some point, whether you play sports or not, right? Like that's just the case. Your mentor is considered your coach. I know that if I coach you well enough, you're not going to need me eventually.
Yes.
Facts.
Yeah.
So I don't look at even our community and wealthy creator. I don't look at it like I'm going to get them to sign up. I got to sell them on signing up first. Then I got to help them and show them that they can get views. And then I'm going to try to upgrade them every 6 months. Like, no, like I'm hoping that you understand what you're being taught so that next time you come in, you're also giving me information that's going to help me coach someone else. You're either going to pay it forward by coaching someone else, or you're going to re-up with me and we're going to do even bigger things.
Yeah.
Like that's just how my mind works when it comes to that. And every coach, if they're good, should be thinking that way. But you said something really good too. You go, we were talking about the agencies.
Yeah.
Right. So I can tell you and be transparent, our company as a whole has gone through some agencies.
Yeah.
I bet.
But where we differ is that we get that information and then we build our own.
See, and that's the other side of our business is not everybody, the owner or the CEO might not want to learn, right?
Yeah.
They're busy. They're on stages,
Right.
but they have either family members or they have small teams that they want to build out and they want to keep all their marketing in-house.
Yep.
So a lot of times they'll bring them into the mentorship program. We'll train a wife or a husband or a son or a team, you know, and now you have somebody who actually is running your marketing that actually cares about your marketing. Because let's be honest, let's put the cards on the table. An agency, they don't really care about your business, right? They're going to do the bare minimum to make sure that they keep that retainer.
Yep.
And like no one cares about your marketing like you do. You know, no one cares about your business like you do. So there's just a power in understanding it. Like he said, you know, when you understand the marketing, first of all, you'll never get ripped off by an agency because you'll know what questions to ask them.
Yeah.
You ask them a couple questions on the call and they don't answer it right, hang up.
Yeah, red flag.
But even more important, like let's say you do hire the agency. Well, now you're knowledgeable. You can hold them accountable.
Yeah.
You can go into their ad account and say, hey, you know, why is my CTR so low? We need to switch our creative. Or hey, my CPMs are too high. That means my audience is too competitive. Switch it out. Yeah. Right. And if you talk like that to an agency, they're gonna be like, yo, wait a minute. Like,
yeah, you heard,
you know,
heard, for sure. You heard our guys today, like Brian and Javi, talk about how we made so many changes. Those were part of it, right? Like Ryan decided as we're weeks away from doing like events, like, cause we had like a couple events this past month and in December, and we were weeks away from getting ready to do it. And he's like, I'm going to take back over marketing. And me being here for the 3 years and seeing it from really early on, I'm like, we good. Like, I'm not concerned when that happens.
Why do you feel like you said that?
What he saw was that he, as he had hired consultants and media and agencies, he understood what they were doing now. And then he understood, because he understands his own branding and his vision better than anyone, he was able to take what he learned from that and goes, this fits for me perfectly. That's why we can fill a room of 1,100 people so fast. Is because he knew, all right, this is how we're going to do it. And he's still setting plans, right? Like we got a meeting after this clears out to go over what we just did and to be planning for the next one, right? Already, day after it's done. Not the same day, right? As the last part of the event, right? And that's just how it goes. But he's going to, again, I got to go in there and I got to go, okay, when it comes to the production, here's what I learned. This, and I got a list. Right? Because these are the ways that we're going to get better, right? And some of that list comes from what I saw, and then some of it is what coming from what people were telling me, right? And so again, going back to that point and making that point of understanding that some criticism is good, right? Accept it, but learn from it, right? And then when you do hire people, when you do get coaches, when you do get agencies, when you do get all these things, don't just allow them to take your product or your brand and go do with whatever. Right? Actually take it and watch what they're doing. Pay attention to what they're doing. Learn it. I'm learning Go High Level. I ain't know nothing about it a week ago. Right? But I watched Ryan make a landing page backstage on his phone.
Boom, boom, boom.
If he can do it, I'm like, all right.
100%.
I'm like, all right, bro. Like, I got to learn this, right?
Yeah.
This is, I don't even know when I'm going to use it. I just got to know it. I got to know it for my information.
And to the point of learning, like I think a lot of people come to us and they're really just overwhelmed when it comes to marketing. Like they really think it's the most complicated ever thing to learn.
Yeah.
And what I try to let people know and get them to understand is like the topic is not difficult.
Yep.
It's the way that you're trying to learn it is difficult.
Yeah.
Most people go to YouTube and they're just watching 800,000 videos and they're learning from 800,000 teachers.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just not the way that people learn. Like when you went to, elementary school, when you walked into your 3rd grade class, did you have like 67 teachers in the front of the room?
Exactly.
Like, no, you had one.
Do it, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you did that, no one would learn anything.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, well, it's not that it's hard, right? You just haven't had the right person sit down and explain it to you. Right. And I think that's probably if there's ever a superpower that we have, it's our ability to be able to take something that is somewhat complex and break it down into something simple that people can follow. Like, hey, this is step 1. Here's step 2. Here's step 3. Yeah. Now let's watch what happens and let's repeat and let's analyze from there.
For sure. And one thing that we've realized over the years is that it's a lot easier to make money in a shorter period of time than it is in a longer period of time. That's one thing that we've realized. And when people first come into our program and just people out there that are watching, a lot of times like they might have these grandiose goals of making, 6 figures. That's always like people's first goal is like, yo, I want to make 100,000, right?
Yeah, until you get it and you're like, all right, I don't feel any different.
I don't feel no different, right?
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier to make $100,000 in a month than it is in a year, right? Like, and most people just take the hard way of doing it.
Yeah.
But it's all about the vehicle that you use to get there. So for instance, like, the first vehicle people typically use is they'll try and walk to their destination, right? Their destination is 100K. They're trying to walk there. And we all know when it comes to walking expends the most energy ever.
Absolutely.
Like trying to walk miles and miles to get to your destination. It's going to take you a longer time and you're going to expend a lot of energy. So then people get a little bit smarter. They start going on YouTube, learning these different things. So now what they've done is they've essentially jumped into a car. Now we know a car will get you there in a shorter period of time than walking will.
Right.
You'll probably cut it in half, right? So people get smart and they start driving to their destination and they're like, oh, this is cool. I got here now in 6 months, let's just say, right? But then the ultimate way to get to the destination that you want quicker is by changing your vehicle again. So what's the fastest vehicle on this planet? That would be a jet, right? So people now hop into the jet, use that vehicle, and then now they're getting to their destination that would have taken them a year to get to. Now they're getting there in 1 month.
Right.
But it's all about the vehicle. And I use that analogy a lot because, a lot of times people feel like making money is hard. And it's not really hard. You just need the right vehicle to get there. So, one thing we've discovered, because we coach a lot of coaches as well, is that the one-to-many model is a lot more efficient.
Okay.
We come from doing one-on-one sessions. Like literally about a year and a half ago, we were doing one-on-one sessions, calendar booked out, flooded like crazy.
Tell me about it.
You know,
Sound like you?
Oh yeah.
And for us, like we realized like, yo, we're expending a lot of energy and we're not utilizing our time effectively. So now we do weekly webinars. Every Thursday night, we do a webinar training and it's us and then it's 40, 50 people on the webinar, and we can get the same point across that we would have if we were to do one-on-one sessions as well.
Yeah.
But we've realized that, and that vehicle has helped us to grow our business as well as our students' business because they understand it's all about the vehicle that you choose to get to the destination.
Absolutely. No, man, you said so many things I could relate to, like especially about the coaching, the one-to-one, right? And so originally Wealthy Creator was called Content Empire. And that's how we started. So probably year and a half, almost 2 years now, I went to Ryan and I was like, hey, Ryan, man, why don't we just set up an education program for content the same way we did for real estate? And he's like, I don't know how that makes any sense. I don't know. I don't see where the money's at in that. And I go, okay. But we can set it up the way we need to really make some good money on that. And it's something that I would be interested in. He's like, yeah, I just not seeing it. I'm not with it. I don't want to be trying to find editors. I was like, no. I don't mean do it for you. That's not what I'm referring to. Because I don't want to do it for anybody except the situation that I'm in. I go, I'm just talking about pure education. And he's like, man, I don't know. And I know Ryan, like I've been around him long enough to that point that I was like, okay, plant the seed, let him think about it, because he'll come back. Right. And the way Ryan works is, and he'll go on vacation or something like that, or just have some downtime and his brain gets going, the idea gets going. he will send you a business plan in a couple hours, and then in 30 days, it's a profitable business. Like that's how fast he can create and implement, right? Like because he has the systems down.
Right.
He's had so many businesses that he knows I can use the same systems over and over again. I know who I need to hire. I know who I need to put in these places, right?
Right.
One thing we didn't think about though is because he launched it and promoted it before it was ready. Because he did like a, where you can do kind of like a sign up where, hey, I'm taking this many people for this amount right now if you sign up today.
Right.
All right. At the time, I didn't know I was coaching. I didn't know I was doing any of that. He sent me the business plan, and I'm like, we're gonna figure the rest out of it later. I had about 18 people signed up. And so when you're looking at your calendar and you're trying to fit 18 one-on-ones.
Oh, you were doing one-on-one.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there was a $30K ticket for me to do one-on-ones with people.
Okay.
And then there was a lower ticket that was group calls. Right. And so I was, we were doing those calls and my schedule was just loading up with one-on-ones. And so as we made that transition to where we stopped selling it for a while, I was like, okay, I'm never doing that part again. That was a lesson learned.
Right.
As much time, I love spending the time with everybody.
Right.
And I got some really good testimonials out of it because there's people that did 5 calls with me, ended up with over 100,000 followers and are speaking on stages now. Right. And so it was like the success stories were great.
Yeah.
I'll take them. Right. Like, and shout out to everyone that was a part of that early stage. Some of them now, like one of them's here. He's a partner in the company now with Ryan.
Wow.
Right. So like stuff that came from that.
Right.
But boy.
But I mean, it's crazy.
You're doing so much talking. And I shared on stage at WealthCon that I heard from my pastor, Pastor Jabin from City Light Las Vegas. He said, God prepares you privately for what he's going to promote you publicly.
Ooh, that's a bar.
Right. And I was like, yeah, man. And so in hindsight, all of that was for this.
Yes.
Right. Like getting comfortable talking to strangers.
Yes.
And turning on your camera to talking to a Zoom call, doing all those things just prepared me for what I'm experiencing now. So I'm forever grateful for it.
Yes.
But man, I was like, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, bro.
It's good.
I'm just never taking that much on again.
And in 2023, our business doubled in revenue and we actually worked less.
See?
Right?
That's how it's supposed to be.
And it is supposed to be like that, but it sounds crazy when you say that, right?
Yeah.
Like when you logically, you're like, how does that make sense? How you make more money and you work less? That doesn't logically make sense. The reason why it doesn't logically make sense is we've been programmed to think the wrong way, right? You have to reprogram the way that your brain works to understand that there is an easier way. Like Ryan said earlier, 10X is easier than 2X.
Yep.
It's easier to make a lot of money in a little bit of time than it is to make a little bit of money in a lot of time.
Yeah.
And that's what we've learned. And that's what we try to tell all of our coaches that we coach as well. And I think one of the biggest pushbacks we get about group coaching when coaches think about it, you're like, yeah, but one-on-ones are more powerful. And again, that's another false belief, right? We've actually discovered that group coaching is more powerful.
Okay.
Because you get to hop on with a group of people and you're listening to questions that you would have never thought of.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times people will jump on calls with us, one-on-one calls. And we'll be like, all right, hey, great. What's going on? What's your question? And they won't have none. Or they'll have the most basic questions ever. And then 10 minutes in, they don't have any more questions.
Right.
Now, this is the way for you to hop into a group session with, 20, 30, 40 people, whatever, high level entrepreneurs that are doing things that you never would have even thought of.
Yeah.
And it's also different industries, which is a great way for you to innovate, right? Because you might listen to a real estate investor talk about something that's very common in the real estate industry. But this person's in e-commerce.
Right.
And innovation is really finding connections between seemingly unconnected things.
Yeah.
That's what innovation is. So finding something that's very common in another industry and apply it to your industry. And now you're doing something that's untraditional.
Now
but
you're
it's
a
traditional.
unicorn.
You see what I mean?
Yep.
Right.
So that's what group coaching allows you to do. So I like, to let all our coaches know that so that they can not only take advantage of, the experience that we've had, but also feel good doing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we've always done 2 calls a week for our group in Wealthy Creators. So we've been pushing that, and we're changing as of next week. We're changing it to 5 calls a
Let's
week.
go.
I heard you say
That's
that.
value.
Yeah, so we're gonna do a motivational Monday, and that's Kate, who's a head of our client experience. She's gonna be really getting people motivated for the week, talking about content, talking about different things in that space. Tuesdays is with Ryan. Ryan usually did a Tuesday call where he talked a lot about the business side of it, and the monetization side of it.
Okay.
Instead, now he'll be talking more. It's kind of like office hours with Ryan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's going to give you updates on every part of the business, whether we're changing something, adding something new,
I love that.
how we're planning for events. Like you're going to just stay updated with everything that's going on in the wealthy
I
community.
love that.
Wednesdays is going to be with Javi, the COO, wealthy business co-host, or wealthy business host. He's going to be talking more from the business and the monetization that Ryan would usually do. So he's going to give more. And it's funny because even though Ryan's great at it, Javi's going to give you details, like real details that you need. He's also going to give you assets and kind of like resources that you would need to get moving on that. I'll take Thursdays still. I did every Thursday and Friday. Now I'll just do Thursday where I'm specifically teaching on content, updating people on platforms, giving out tips and strategies on how you can kind of grow and scale on your following, your views, and every other way. And then Friday, we're going to bring back, we did this before, we stopped it. We're going to bring back the content review day where you have the opportunity to share your piece of content and get critiqued by the whole community.
So you be on, so they're kind of like on the hot seat on Friday.
Yeah. Y'all, it's funny because like you got some people that's like quick to volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
And you got some people that I know you're making content because I've seen it.
Yeah.
And you're not willing to.
They're just shy.
Right. But the goal is to get everybody comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
And long term, the goal is to have little accountability groups amongst the community.
Yep.
That's solid,
and
bro.
really get them to really be working and collaborating together. We encourage podcasting, obviously. You heard it today.
Definitely.
And we always talk about, we encourage people to podcast. How strong is a community where everybody has a podcast and they collaborate with each other all the time?
No, I love that, man.
It's a super powerful community in that sense. So that's what we're doing. What's fun about that setup is that nobody has to do more work because Ryan does a call anyway. Now everybody's just invited. Javi is doing a call. Everybody. So you get to get wealthy businesses community and wealthy creative community together for all this information. And then Ryan was like, heck, we might as well give it to investor as well.
That's smart though. That's
so
smart.
now everybody's getting this call. Now you're going to have people getting deals from each other. Like it's just creating this big pool of a wealthy way community.
Big ecosystem.
Right? It's bringing all these people into creator. They're able to see the value in it.
It's one of the smartest things you can do as a business owner, especially coaches, is use leverage.
Yeah.
Leverage is your most powerful asset, right? If you think about it, like when you're in the garage trying to get a nut bolt off or whatever, right? You're sitting there like just all your weight standing on it, whatever, just red in the face, like trying to get on, you can't do it. As soon as you add a little extra bar to it, all this is boop, it's just right off with way less energy. And it's the same exact thing with business, making money, all that stuff. It's like if you just do things a little different, utilize leverage, everything becomes easier, you know, and because when you're doing these calls, you know, like you can do a one-on-one call and give someone value, that's great. But it doesn't help. It doesn't expend any more energy for you to have 100 people on the call, and now you're changing 100 people's lives with the same energy expended.
Exactly.
You know?
And I love that, man. And one thing about coaching and having that model where you're doing something every day is you better know your stuff.
That's a fact.
You know, you better know your stuff. One of our mentors says, if your coach doesn't have a coach, then your coach is a joke. Right?
That's so true.
So it's very important for you to make sure that you're always tapping in and gaining knowledge. Like I heard you mention like Thursdays, you're doing, you know, content creation, giving them the latest trends and stuff. I'm sure you wouldn't be able to do that if you didn't have a coach or if you weren't a lifelong learner, right?
You have to be.
You know?
You have to be. I look at the brain like a machine. Like it literally is like a computer.
Yep.
Right? Like, you know why you forget stuff that when you were younger? It's because your computer was at capacity. Right? And so that's the way my mind works. Like, okay, I want to continue to fill it up with as much information as possible. But the old information is cool, but I want some of that. I want a lot of new information.
Exactly.
Because I need to know what's happening right now and how I could benefit the situation currently and plan for the future.
Exactly, bro.
Right? So, you know, it's all those little pieces. Like it's funny. I heard people say like, you know, intelligent people learn from their mistakes. Wise people learn from the mistakes of everybody else.
Bars.
And so when you talk about your community, especially in coaching, you want to be able to have the ability for people to learn from everyone else's mistakes.
Facts.
Right? So when I get the same question over and over again, I go, either you're not coming on these calls consistently or you're just not listening. Or you're not paying attention.
Yep.
All right. So I go, hey, everybody, make sure these cameras are on when we're on this group call. Make sure you got your notes. Make sure you're doing all these things. And one thing I'm going to do to set culture and what we're trying to do is I'm going to make the community way more aggressive than what they've been so far.
Yeah.
right? We've been very kind to each other,
Yeah.
right? But sometimes you need that kick in the butt.
We don't need
Absolutely.
that. No,
You know?
we don't need a yes man.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the other thing with our coaching program too. Like we're not the ones that sugarcoat stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you come on month after month after month and you're not making progress, well, I know better than I know you can do it.
Right.
Even if you don't believe it, I believe in you. So you can borrow my belief in yourself until you get your own.
Yeah.
Right. I know you can do it. The reason why you're not seeing the results is because you're not taking the action. We say all the time, action takers are money makers.
That's right.
Right. If you want to make money, you have to take action. You have to do the things. So it's just so big, man.
One thing I want to kind of piggyback off of what you said, bro, is, inputs determine your outlook, and your outlook determines your outcome,
It's good.
and your outcome determines your future.
Yeah.
So essentially what that means is if you are doing the right inputs, meaning if you are going to coaching, if you are learning these things, if you are surrounding yourself with the right type of people, then your outlook of the future is going to be a lot brighter, right? And if your outlook is a lot brighter and you're motivated to do things, then your output is going to be greater as well.
Yeah.
And if your output is greater and you're accomplishing these goals and you're seeing all these things happen, then that makes your future a lot better. But it all starts with that core belief of, having the people around you that'll give you more purpose, right? Like we were in a mentorship this past year, Myron Golden's mentorship.
Okay. Love Myron, man.
Uncle Myron. Yeah.
Great.
So we were in there, and before then, like our mindset, like we wanted to make money, right? But being around entrepreneurs in that inner circle leveled us up so much because, we were seeing on a daily basis people coming on talking about, yo, I had a $5 million day. I had a $9 million day.
Yeah.
I did XYZ. And you're just hearing all this greatness all the time, bro, right? And so for us, just being around that, right? It changed our outlook on what we could do for the year. And that's why I said, we doubled our income, but we doubled our income because we changed our outlook.
Yeah.
And then we ended up doing 100K in a day, which was a record for us, but we wouldn't have been able to even wrap our mind around something like that a year previous.
Yeah.
But just being around those people, it changed everything, man.
That's how it goes, right? Like the sprinter didn't know that they could run record time until they saw somebody else's time. Right? And then you beat that, and the next person just comes and goes, okay, I'm going to beat that time. And the next person, and that's how it goes. You don't know how far you can go and what you can reach until you see someone else do something incredible, right? And I feel that way about everything. I'm like, okay, I just got up in front of 1,100 people and spoke. I didn't think about doing that until time after time I watched people do it. And see, because I was side of stage the whole time, I got to see the people that are extremely nervous.
Yeah.
Right? Watch them pacing back and forth before they go on. Watch them sweating and wiping themselves as much as they can before they go out. And then I got to see the guy that's calm, cool.
Yeah.
He's like, how you doing, man? I'm cool, yeah, man. I can tell he's the pro,
Yeah.
right? He's got his story down to a T, right? Like I got to see all of that. And I'm like, okay, when Ed Milet goes up there and he tells this story that now I've heard 5 times because of how many events we've been to the last month, I go, he's mastered that. And he's tweaked it for the room. That's repetition.
Yes.
That's skill. So like you're talking about, like, yeah, you want to keep building. It's just muscle. And you don't know what you could reach until you start doing it.
Yo, the other beautiful thing about joining mastermind programs is that when we're on the outside looking in, we see these people making $9 million a day and we're thinking they're like superheroes.
Right.
Yep.
But then you get in the room and you realize, oh, these are regular people just like me.
Yeah.
Oh, they got doubts. They got insecurities. They're still trying to figure stuff out too.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how insecure and unsure these individuals are of themselves.
100%, man.
They're just as surprised as you are when you hear those numbers sometimes.
Yes, they are. And that gives you that courage. Like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Because our ability to achieve depends on our ability to believe.
That's good.
You know what I mean? If you don't believe, like most people that we coach, when they come into our programs, it's not that they lack the brain capacity or lack the skill to do it, right? A lot of them just lack the belief in themselves.
Yeah.
They lack the awareness that the resources that they have are already there, right? So all our job as a coach is just to make them believe in themselves, right? So that they can actually achieve those things, you know? And that's really, as a coach, that's really the greatest gift you can ever give someone is belief in themselves.
Absolutely. So now you all are making money.
Yeah,
we're doing all
big
right. We're
things,
doing all right now.
helping a lot of people. What are your plans to scale? How do you scale this?
You're looking at it, bro. You're looking at it.
Yeah, that's actually that's why we out here, bro. For real.
Yeah.
Like our goal, because last year,
That was just a setup question.
Of course.
last year, we had never done any podcast before, and our main focus was ads. Like,
We
we're
did
ads
one.
guys.
We were on EYL.
Well,
We were
yeah.
on-
What I'm saying is, before last year, we had never done one, right? We're ads guys. We do a lot of ads. We spend a lot of money on ads. But then we realized, like, being inside of the room with successful people, they were running ads, but they were doing this one additional thing. And that was getting on the podcasts that have the stages that you want to share your knowledge with.
Absolutely.
So last year we did EYL, Earn Your Leisure. They got like 1.4 million subscribers. So we did Ash Cash's Inside the Vault podcast.
Okay.
And that allowed us to do 100K a day, because now we have value to give. We have lives to change.
Right.
You just gotta hear the message. And if it's for you, it's for you.
Yeah.
You know,
Nobody knows you have an offer if you won't tell anybody about it.
facts.
And how do you tell people about it? Find the platform that makes sense to your business.
Yes.
Exactly, man.
Right? It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's that
Yeah.
simple. This is why Ryan can talk to anybody, because people come in like, and again, it was, I think, event number 11 before he paid somebody for me that I've been. This is my 13th one.
Okay.
It was number 11 before I saw him pay somebody to come speak, and even that was discounted. What it is, though, is that the speakers understand that his audience is an audience that's going to support.
Yep.
So again, going back to the point of nobody knows you have an offer unless you tell them about it. And you can't tell them about it unless you're on platforms with people that are like-minded and would be accepting or wanting of your business.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right? So when you talk about EYL, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just makes perfect sense.
but
Right?
what
It makes perfect sense on why you chose those to kind of go on.
Definitely,
and so
man.
that's awesome to hear, bro. Like you
What
guys
we-
understanding it clear.
What we learned though overall was that you can be running ads and you can be doing all these podcasts, and that's great. But if you're not doing this, then all of that is completely pointless.
Yeah.
And that thing is making sure that you get those viewers off of those platforms
On yours.
and into yours.
Yeah.
Which is lead generation, which is data collection, right?
Yeah.
It's probably the most important thing any business can do, right?
Yes.
Data is the most valuable resource in the world. It has
Right, convert.
surpassed oil. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, we like to tell our students all the time, listen, Instagram's great, bro, but what if it kicks you off?
Right.
What if Facebook gets hacked?
Yeah.
What if TikTok gets banned?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There'll be a lot of average people.
You're screwed. You know
A lot
what I
more
mean?
average
Like,
people than there
you go
are,
from
right?
10,000 followers to zero, and now what that means as a business owner is you don't have any way to reach your audience. And if that's the case, your business dissolves.
Yeah.
But if you have a tangible list, meaning names, emails, phone numbers, well, you own that list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can reach out to them anytime you want to, and that's security. And I know, security don't sound very sexy, but I'm telling you, it's
You
necessary
need it. Yeah.
in this
Facts.
business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So our biggest thing is like get those people off of Instagram onto your list, grow your list, and having a list has changed our lives, has changed our business, because we've actually had Facebook ad accounts hacked and shut down.
Wow.
And the only way our business was allowed to able to keep going was because we had a list,
Yep.
take it, pull it into a custom audience, create a lookalike from it, and keep the ads
Keep
going.
it going.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And you have to do it. I mean, the companies that everybody know, the Apples, the Teslas, they've known this for a very long time, right? There won't be an electric vehicle that can compete with Tesla. They've been collecting data for 20 years. They can't compete with the iPhone because they've been collecting data for 20. Like, you know what I mean? Like they were some of the first ones to do it. You can't do anything on these things without giving information.
correct.
And so what you're talking about there is that security.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't have to update this thing for real
They don't.
until they're ready to do it.
They don't.
You're
man.
selling the same type of phone,
Mm-hmm.
adding a number to whatever we're at next. Where we at? 15?
One little feature.
And then
It'd be-
that's it.
You're taking a feature away probably and then adding one.
Yeah.
Facts.
You can't even get charges with them anymore, right? Like
You
these are
know.
all things like, and they know you're still gonna go pick them up because
Yeah.
they own your data.
Yeah, they do a good job at, building the brand and making you reliant
Yep.
on their brand, because, they got the iPhone, right? Then they got the MacBook Pro. Then they created Apple TV.
Yeah, your whole
right?
ecosystem is
Your whole
one
ecosystem
brand.
is Apple,
Yeah.
but that was a smart business move, and that's what Apple is really good at. Disney's good at it as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
one thing that Disney does really well, they have 4 particular moves that keep you ingrained in their platform.
Mhm.
First thing they do is they create the movie.
Mhm.
And in the movie really pulls on your heartstrings. It gets you emotionally attached to these characters, right?
Yeah.
And you might spend $10 to $20 with them for that particular experience. Then after the movie, it's like, okay, I saw the movie, but now what I want to do, Daddy, I want to go to Disney World,
Exactly,
right? So then you go to Disney World and you're spending $200 to $300 for the family.
$200 on a hot dog.
$200 hot dogs, go to Disney.
For real, for real.
You know, the mouse take everything from you.
Everything, bro. Because I just took my daughter there. What was it? Last year, maybe I took her there, but spent $200, $300, and they're getting money from you that way, right?
That's how it goes.
But then when you're inside the Disney, you also want to buy the merch. So then you got to buy the merchandise as well, and they're making money again.
And they're putting out exclusive stuff that you think you're getting. Like, it's all of that, bro.
It's all of that,
it's all
bro.
part of it. All I got to do is get you there.
That's it.
And it's no different than events and anything else, right? I just need to get people in the room.
100%,
right?
bro.
So you're spot on. Scaling is gonna go good, especially for a coaching program, right? You just got to get your voice out there. You got to be seen. I did a podcast with Brian Mark. Y'all check that out if y'all haven't already. But he spoke of the same type of experience. Him and Cole are partners in their business, and the same type of experience, right? Like, I need to make it so that people need it. I want them to go do it, right? Like, that's all it is. And them doing it just sends more people to me to learn how to go do it again, right? Like, that's just how
it's that ecosystem
keeps
bro.
building.
And all businesses can do that too.
Yeah.
This is every business, whether it's coaching, whether you have a product-based business, it doesn't matter. But
Doesn't
if you
matter.
follow that model, you're going to win continuously.
Yeah,
bro,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this though, because now that the money's coming in, the community's growing, and people are coming to you for your expertise, how do you qualify on who you work with and who you wouldn't be willing to work with?
That's a great question. That's actually a great segue. So we have something called the Grow Your List Challenge, right? And as the name tells, like, it's all about growing your lists, emails, phone numbers, names, right? Because we just talked about data is the most valuable asset in the world, right?
Yeah.
So during the challenge, we do a lot of different things for our students. We give them tangible assets. We give them landing pages. We give them scripts. We give them ChatGPT stuff, like make it as easy as possible for them to succeed. But the thing is, with our challenge, you got to be an action taker.
Yeah.
You got to be someone who's running the play, because every single day we have more things for you to do to take action on. Now, what we found is that the cream rises to the top, and the people that are really the action takers at the end of the week, they're getting these successes. They see the vision. They're seeing all these things. Though that's essentially our way of qualifying people to actually work with us on a deeper level, because the people that go through the challenge, a lot of them, they don't want the learning to stop. You know what I'm saying? And when that happens, then we can introduce other things to them, our other programs and things like that. But that's the way that we qualify people now, as opposed to the old way of doing it, where we would hop on a one-on-one, hop on a sales call with them, do all these different things and waste a ton of time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now we have a lot more efficient ways.
Because with sales calls, we've done thousands of sales calls. And there's ways to qualify too. You can send them through funnels and VSLs, and you can add pre-qualifying questions and all that kind of stuff. And that helps. But at the end of the day, most of them haven't spent enough time with you for them to really like understand your philosophies, understand and actually be ready, right?
Yeah.
So, and then the other thing is like talk is cheap, right? You go through a challenge and you're rocking with us for 3-4 days straight, and you're in there banging out stuff, and you're seeing your list grow over the course of 3 days. Now I know, okay, this person ain't just a talker. Like, now they're qualified to work with us, and so we can blow them up just like we've blown up thousands of people already.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome. My next question though, and I'm curious, because as you scale, obviously you need bodies, you need people. What does your current team look like?
Yeah.
For how you're managing the influx of people coming in?
It's a great question.
This is the crazy part, right? Like, so we doubled our revenue last year. We're the co-owners. We have one employee.
Wow.
One employee.
And that employee does admin, I'm assuming?
He does a lot of admin. He does a lot of stuff, man. Shout out to Daniel, man.
Yeah, shout out to Daniel.
They ain't paying you enough, Daniel.
He's doing all right. Daniel is he's an octopus, man.
Okay.
You know, he's doing a lot with the challenge. He's moderating. He's
integrator.
He's an integrator. He does stuff with our software. He does a lot of stuff, man. Okay. So, you know, for us, it's we have a very small team, but we're very, serious about who we bring on. You know, not only do you have to be skilled, but you have to be a certain type of person too. Yeah. That's what I like about Ryan's operation as well. You're not just hiring anybody out there. You know, you got to be aligned with our morals, and because he's interacting with our students, you know, and he's a representation of us.
Yeah, you need to be able to trust him.
You know what I mean? Big. Yeah. It's really, really big. So right now it's a small team, but the way we're able to do it really, bro, is automation, man. Okay. Automation has been a game changer for us. Finding all those little things that don't necessarily need a human to do.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, we always say, automate before you delegate.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, they start getting a little bit of money. First thing they do is they start hiring
Delegate.
these humans.
Then automate. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But most of the time, there's some kind of automation or some kind of robot or algorithm that can do 90% of what these humans can do. And then you find the things that the robots can't do.
Mm-hmm.
You plug in humans to do those things.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of where we're at in our scale of our business. But I mean, I'm gonna go on record and say it, dude. Within the next month or two, we're gonna need to hire some more bodies.
All right,
Yeah,
y'all hear
we have
that? Y'all hear that?
Yo,
Everybody
hold us
listening?
accountable.
Yes, sir. No, I mean, I think too, it comes a point where it's necessary, right? Like you're going to get an influx of individuals that want to join you
Yes.
and partner with you that you're not going to be able to connect with, and you're going to need that person, still that human element of things. And that's why I always tell people, like, they were asking me earlier, hey, what AI softwares do you use for editing? And I'm like, yeah, we use a lot of different AIs for different things throughout the whole company, but it never can replace the human element.
Right.
It's different when I get to connect with you. This is why podcasting is so powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Like we could have did this, over the phone. We could have did this over Zoom or
It's not the same.
it's just not the same, right? Like actually getting to touch, just like an event. Getting in the room with Ryan is different from just seeing him on a video. Right? It's so funny watching. I watch some people come in with low expectations of who he is because of the content. Where they're kind of like, this guy's got the hair, he's dyeing it. Like they don't know that he don't really care about that. Like that's not really a thing for him.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's him
Is that real dye, by the way, or is it like some spray thing?
No, he's dyeing it.
He's dyeing it.
Yeah.
Dang,
if you look at it now, it's a little bluish because that dye is, kind of
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like
It's
so,
dying.
Yeah, exactly. So like, but it's not like he's going out and going, I really want pink hair or I really want red hair. Like that's not a real thing. He does it based on whether or not he's going to promote one of his brands.
Gotcha.
So it was green when Tykes was being promoted. It was red when we wanted to push Kingdom. It was blue when he did, what I mean? Like all those different things. It was purple when Creator started. Like all these different things. And it's just him having fun. We didn't even know what it was going to do. It was just like, all right. He walked in with it one day. I was like, okay, this is going to be funny. They're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
Right? But then they get in the room with him and they start to hear stuff that he, talks about and his mind and how his mind works and how intelligent he is. Like, I tell him all the time, like, and I tell anybody that asks me about it, I'm like, this dude has a little genius in him. Like, the way he's able to problem solve that quickly, he's got some genius in him. And so it's like all those things. And then people are like, okay, this is different, right? This feels different.
Yeah.
So those are all pieces. So you always gonna have that human element to it, especially when it comes to the top of the brand. But like you said, you solve problems by first figuring out, can you do it the most cost efficient way? And then you add other elements to it.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
you're spot on. Where do you see the future of the company?
Man, so honestly, like our goal this year, we want to, because we do our challenges. We do this thing called the Grow Your List Challenge. We do it every month. So our goal is to get at least 100 people on every challenge this year.
Gotcha.
Another one of our goals that we've discussed is getting on at least 4 major podcasts this year as well.
Okay.
Because ultimately, like, we have a lot of the stuff within the business, like moving and shaking and figured out. Once we scale, we're gonna need to hire a few people, but ultimately, like, we're pretty much where we want to be. We're ready to start scaling.
Yeah.
So
you're right there.
really, and one thing that our mentor taught us is, when it comes to goal creation, a lot of people have these monetary goals, right? They want to make $5 million a year or $10 million a year. We stopped doing that because we found that the inputs are more important.
Right.
So instead of having a $5 million a year goal, reverse engineer it and think about what it would take to get to that level.
Exactly.
How many events do you need to throw? How many podcasts do you need to do? How many challenges do you need to do? How many products do you need to sell?
And you're basing it on your current data, which you know to happen
Correct.
right now.
Correct.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We do. So we do, including the 4 big events a year. We do one every quarter. We also do one challenge or webinar a month, as well as an in-person where we can get 150 to 200 people in here, like you see today.
Yeah.
Workshop.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And those would be a 2-day workshop, 2 days with creator, 2 days with investor, and then a challenge virtually for 2 days.
That's dope.
All right.
Man.
And so we're doing some of the same
that's amazing,
type
man.
of things. Luckily, like this used to be a sales floor. This was a bunch of cubicles where you all were sitting today here. And when he decided to go all in on events, which is around close to the same time that he decided to go all in on podcasting,
Gotcha.
we were like, why do we have a sales floor here? instead of now having a liability with the place, it's become an asset, and we can make money in the space that
1000%.
we're in. And so now we can get 200 people in here, and hopefully they get into the communities.
That's great.
So it's like
man.
those are you're talking some of the same
man,
talk. Like,
look.
how many people do we need to get on this challenge? How many
Yeah.
people do we need to
Yeah.
have? Right. And so, you're just trying to increase those numbers continually, and your business grows.
It does. I mean, success leaves clues, right? That's what we tell
Absolutely.
people. Like sometimes, like we had one of our friends one time bought a mentor session with this one guy. He charged him $10,000 for one session.
Wow.
And he said he went in and the guy told him 2 words.
Yeah.
He said, pay attention.
That's it.
And he was like, wait, bro, I just paid $10K for 2
That's all I
words.
got. I ain't mad
But
at
he's
it.
like, but really, think about it.
Yeah, it's real.
If you got all of these $1,000,000,000 companies out here, for instance, you probably know like different fashion brands, art brand, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and they are texting you every other day with a promotion, or they're emailing you multiple times a day with different things going on. You got to understand that there's only one reason and one reason only why they're doing that.
Yeah.
It's because it works.
It works.
And
Making
success
money from
leaves
it.
clues.
Yeah.
So if you think these $1,000,000,000 companies are out here collecting data, sending texts, sending emails, you think it ain't working? No, it's working. And you need to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you don't, and those success principles, they work for anybody, not just for them.
Yeah. I'm gonna steal that from your mentor too. I'm gonna start saying success leaves clues, because it also applies to
Yeah.
content.
Oh,
It
yeah,
does.
bro.
Like,
It
you don't
does.
have to be the most creative person to create really good content.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just not true. When I started, actually, October was when we started launching this podcast, or when we did launch all the other Wealthy Network podcasts. And I was obviously first time getting in front of the camera, first time talking. So I had like family and friends like, bro, I ain't never seen you do this before. What are you doing? Like, where did this come from? But I noticed then too, like, they're seeing it, right?
Mm.
Whereas my picture that I posted once every couple months, they never saw that.
Mm.
Right? That means it's getting reach. It's starting to go, and it's sending it to people that are already or have liked my stuff previously.
Yeah.
And then I start seeing new faces. And then I start seeing old friends from like elementary school go, bro, what? Right? Like, these are all things that it's telling me, for me being in it, even though I've done it for everybody else, I never done it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to just prove that, yeah, I can make this happen. And with that, I can go, all right, no more imposter syndrome. Like, you actually know what you're doing.
That
You're able to
part.
do it for multiple people, and you can do it for yourself. This is how you do it. But I say all that to say, it's funny how, that kind of works with you, because then you go, hey man, I'm doing it. It's getting out there. All right, now it's time to start monetizing.
Right.
What do I need to do that? And then you start developing workshops. You start to creating assets and resources, all these different
Yes.
pieces that begin to develop your business. And then you have that one day where 5 people reach out and buy something from you. That's your $100,000 day.
Easy.
Yep.
Right? Like, these are all those things that start to happen. You start to develop a business. And the reason why the content is so important to that story is because I didn't have to go figure out what to do creatively. I went to look at everybody that was in my industry, in my lane, in my niche. What were they doing that was working?
Mm-hmm.
Success leaves clues.
Yes, sir.
Exactly, bro.
It was that simple.
The challenges
That's
are valuable for both sides of the fence, though,
Yeah.
right? They're obviously very valuable for us because we
Yeah.
make a lot of money. It's changed our business, great.
Yeah.
But it's also very valuable for the people who join. And the reason why is because, one word, pressure. People don't understand that they have an elite version of, everybody has this elite version of themselves inside of them. But the problem is that elite version is never activated.
Yeah.
And it's only activated by one way, pressure,
Yeah.
right? External pressure to actually do it. Most people see themselves or have their back against the wall and they look at that as a disadvantage. Like, oh man, I got to make this work. That is an advantage, right? Because we all have this sixth sense inside of us. The problem is, again, most people don't put themselves in an environment to pull that person out.
Yeah.
You've heard these stories of like women picking up like 6,000-pound cars to get their babies underneath. Like,
Yeah.
you've heard these stories.
Didn't know they had it until they had to do it.
Exactly.
Under no other circumstance would that woman be able to pick that car up.
Yeah.
But because the external environment forced her to be stronger than she thought she was, right? She was now stronger than she thought she was.
Yeah.
And like you just said, once you understand that about yourself, you can never unlearn it. Because like my boy always says, the brain is the one organ that doesn't have a excretion process.
Yeah.
Every other cell in your body, every other organ in your body has a filtration where it takes something in and excretes it.
Yeah.
The brain is the only organ that doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So it's just, literally, we could talk about this for hours.
I know. We can go deep. I'm not going to hold you all any longer, man. Tell the people where they can find you, where they can support you.
For sure. So you can find us at Rich From Anywhere, everywhere. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. We do have our own podcast as well that we just started. We might need some tips from you.
Let's go. I got you. Say no more.
But yeah, y'all can find us there. We drop a lot of free game. We also do weekly webinars every Thursday, and we also have the Grow Your List Challenge. For those of y'all interested, come check us out.
Absolutely.
100%.
What about you?
Same thing, bro. Like, look,
all on one page.
We're all on one page. We easy to find.
I hope y'all seeing that. It's one page.
Yeah.
You're the brand. Doesn't matter what goes on there. You're the brand. Start posting yourself. Start getting yourself out there. Promote what you have going on. I appreciate you all for coming.
Likewise, bro.
Thank you,
I really hope you all enjoyed your time here in Vegas and the event. We're doing it again in April, man. Y'all look out. He announced it at WealthCon. We'll be doing another one in April. It's going to be awesome. We got some. I already know some of the speakers coming.
You can't say nothing yet?
I can't say nothing yet. I can't say nothing
what
yet.
kind of
Maybe off
podcast
camera I
is
can y'all a little bit. Off camera we can talk about it.
Cool.
But it's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. We're expecting a really big turnout, and we're going to have some really fun parties and things like that. So if y'all can get back, come back through.
Yeah, this
man.
one was incredible. Like, I was very impressed with the scale at which your operation operates, bro.
That's awesome,
like,
man.
it's next level. So y'all definitely get out here for sure.
Absolutely. We're going to put all their links down in the comments so you all can find them and support them. And make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're tapped into this page on Apple, on Spotify, wherever you listen to Apple or listen to your podcast. And tap in. Follow me at Justin Berry. Do all of that stuff, man. Support us. Leave a comment. Let me know who else you want to get on this podcast. I'm grateful for everybody that comes in and sits with me, man. It's been another one. Wealthy Creator Podcast. Peace.
All right, guys. Today we're going to be talking about entrepreneurial DNA. This is something that I discovered over many, many years of being in business, pursuing greatness, being around a lot of great people. And I want to actually explain it to you through science, right? Have you guys ever heard of something called stem cells? Stem cells, basically, if you haven't heard of stem cells before, stem cells are essentially, they are cells within the body that can be turned into any other cell in the body, right? It's really, really fascinating. If you guys aren't familiar with it, like definitely go do some research. Really, really interesting. But like there's tons and tons of case studies. There are people with like chronically bad backs or have chronic pain in the body, right? And they will get stem cells injected into those areas and like their back pain will be gone in days. Or they'll have terrible shoulder injuries and they will inject stem cells into their shoulder and their shoulders are repaired within days. And basically stem cells, regardless of what their DNA is, if you put the stem cell inside of a certain type of culture or a certain type of environment, it will morph into that type of cell, basically, right? Crazy. It's actually called epigenetics if you want to look it up. Super fascinating. Like, so for instance, if let's just say this right here was a petri dish, like inside of a scientific lab, and inside of this petri dish, you had bone cells. And then you had another petri dish, and this one had muscle cells. And then you had another petri dish, and this one had fat cells. Okay, so 3 completely different petri dishes with 3 completely different cultures inside of them. And then down here, you have your stem cell. Now, the way that this works is if you were to put this stem cell inside of this bone culture, what's going to happen is that stem cell is going to turn into a bone. And if you take the same exact stem cell and you put it into the muscle culture, then what's going to happen is it's going to turn into muscle. And if you take the same exact stem cell and you put it into fat culture, then it's going to turn into fat. And this actually happens inside of the body. It's a super wild, right? So what this does is it tells us 3 things about stem cells. The first thing is that they are designed to adapt. It's not that they can adapt, and it's not that they might adapt. They are designed to adapt, right? Like adapting is what they do best. That's what this says about stem cells. The second thing that it says about stem cells is that environment is actually more important than DNA. The environment in which you put the stem cell is actually more important than the DNA that the stem cell is comprised of. And then the third thing that it says about stem cells is that it requires intention. If you want to be successful with stem cell therapy, you can't just randomly inject stem cells in different parts of the body and expect to solve a problem, right? No, if you go in there with a shoulder injury, right, you need to take the stem cells and you need to be intentional about injecting the stem cells into the shoulder. That way the stem cells are in the right environment and they can grow the muscles that are in the shoulder and they can regenerate and repair the shoulder. Same thing with a lower back pain, same thing with a foot issue, same thing with any part of the body. So you have to be very, very intentional about where you put the stem cell. Now you're probably asking like, yo, what does this have to do with growing my business, right? Well, basically stem cells are very, very similar to entrepreneurs. Let me give you guys an example. Let's just say, for instance, you have an environment, and this environment is what we're going to call a failure environment. This is full of a bunch of people who are just losers, don't care about growing their business, don't care about excelling in life, don't care about helping out the world, people who are just okay with being failures. And then you also have another environment, and we're going to call this a stagnant culture, right? These are your just mediocre 9-to-5, middle of the road, not necessarily failures, but not necessarily trying to be great either. And then you got your other culture over here, and this is what we call our success culture. These are the people who are striving to be great in life. They're striving to change the world. These are people who just know their purpose and know their worth. They're trying to be next level. Okay. Now down here, you have the entrepreneur. Now, just like a stem cell, if you were to take this entrepreneur and you put it into a failure culture, that entrepreneur will go into that environment and that will produce a failure. If you take that same exact entrepreneur and you put it into a stagnant culture, then what's going to happen is that entrepreneur is going to turn into a mediocre person. But if you put that same exact entrepreneur into a success culture, that person is going to turn into a successful person. And I love this principle so much because what it does is it tells us 3 things about the entrepreneur. The first thing is that entrepreneurs are designed to adapt. It's not that you can adapt. It's not that you might adapt. It's that you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you are designed to adapt to your environment. That is what you are going to do. Us as humans, we are very, very good at adapting to our environment. That's why if you look around, you guys probably see, that doctors that hang out with other doctors and lawyers that hang out with other lawyers and crackheads who are hanging out with other crackheads, right? Like that's the way that it is. It's all around us, right? So you have to understand that that's in our nature to do that. And then the second thing about entrepreneurs is that environment is more important than your DNA. It doesn't matter where you come from. All that matters is the environment that you are put in. How many stories have you heard of entrepreneurs coming from absolutely nothing, from the ghetto, from the slums, and then end up being super mega successful, right? Because they took themselves out of that environment and they put themselves in a better environment. And that better environment shifted and changed that person and made him or her better, right? So what I want you to know is that you as an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what your DNA is. It doesn't matter what your mom did, what your dad did, what your sister, what your brother, what your uncle did. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is the environment that you're putting yourself in currently. Like it or not, hate it or love it, the environment that you put yourself in will dictate the results that you get in your life. It's science, right? So that's the other thing. And then the third thing is that entrepreneurs require intention. If you want to grow your business, if you want to become a successful person, you cannot just sit around and hope that you land in an environment of successful people. You have to be very intentional about surrounding yourself with very successful people who have the life that you want. Because if you're not intentional about that, then there's a very, very high chance that you're going to end up in the wrong environment. And if you end up in the wrong environment, you're going to get the wrong results. You're not going to live a fulfilled life. You're not going to hit the goals that you want to hit. So look, here's my point. I don't care where you're at in your life right now, where you're at in your business, if you're just getting started or if you're already taking off and you're trying to take it to the next level. I don't really care. It doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, what you need to do is you need to first identify where it is that you want to actually go. What are the results that you actually want? Get very, very clear on that. And then the second thing is that you want to identify an environment, find people who have already produced those results and just get around those people. If you can just get around those people and stay around those people, science says that you eventually will turn into those people. And it's super exciting, right? Because you don't have to be a genius. You don't have to have some past record of success. It doesn't matter. Remember, because your DNA doesn't matter as much as your environment, right? So hopefully this has been helpful for you. Hopefully this has inspired you a little bit to let you know that, listen, no matter where you're at in your business right now, no matter what your past says, no matter what your family says, it doesn't matter what they say. Science says you can do it. And all you got to do is find the right people, put yourself in that environment, and let science just do the rest. All right. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. There are 168 hours in a week. And most of us sleep between, let's just say 7 hours per day. So after sleep, that means we have about 119 hours per week to dedicate towards our business. But then wait, there's life too, right? You got like, oh, I got to go grocery shopping. I got to spend time with the fam. I got to do all this other life kind of stuff. Let's just dedicate like around 19, 20 hours on that. So after everything, y'all have about 100 hours per week to dedicate towards your business. Okay. Now, let me give y'all an example real quick. Let's just say, for instance, you guys are working 25 hours a week in your business and you're actually making $25,000 a month, right? That sounds pretty dope, right? That's not a bad deal. 25 hours a week, making $25K a month. I'm gonna tell y'all what happens when you start making $25K a month. You wanna double it. You wanna make $50K a month. But I'm gonna tell you like this, the only way, if nothing changes in your business, the only way to double your money is by doubling your labor, okay? So that's what you do. You say, okay, boom, I'm gonna go work hard. I'm gonna double it up. I'm gonna work 50 hours a week now. And it worked. So now you're working 50 hours a week, but now you're making 50,000 a month, okay? You're like, damn, this is great. I'm gonna tell y'all what happens when you make 50K a month. I'm gonna tell y'all from experience. You wanna double it. That's what you wanna do. And I'm telling y'all right now, if nothing changes in your business, the only way to double your income is by doubling your labor. So you do that again and you work 100 hours a week and then it works again. You're like, damn, I'm working 100 hours a week and I'm making 100,000 a month. You're killing the game. But I'm gonna tell y'all from experience what happens when you make 100K a month. Y'all wanna double it. You're gonna wanna make 200K a month, okay? So if nothing changes in your business, the only way to double your money is to double your labor. So you're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go double my labor again, right? I'm gonna go double my labor. But then you're like, oh, wait, I don't have any more labor or time to give. Why am I telling you all this? A lot of y'all right now have goals. By the way, type in the chat. I wanna know what y'all's goals are. How much do y'all wanna make per month? And I don't know about you guys, but we're really into like energy and like law of attraction and manifesting and visualizing stuff. I don't know if any of you guys are like that at all, but that's how we are. We don't like to just think things in our head. We want to put it out into the universe so that it actually is something real and it's more likely to happen. So type in the chat, how much money do y'all want to make per month? But the reason why I'm breaking this down right now is because of this line right here. What got you here will not get you there. I want to give y'all a round of applause to all of y'all for getting to the place that you're at. You guys are business owners. You are already among the elite in the world. So bravo for getting to where you are right now. But I'm telling y'all right now, what got you here today will not get you to those goals that you just typed in the chat. You have got to switch your strategies up. And until you do that, you're going to really burn yourself out real fast.
The amount of followers that you have does not equate to the amount of dollars you have in your bank account. Mm-hmm. Okay? It does not. I'm going to prove it to you right now. All right.
What's
What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? This is your guy Bees with Entrepreneurship Exposed, another episode where we're going into everything related to entrepreneurship with a twist of business acquisitions. And today we're going to talk about one of the most important things, I believe, when it comes to being a business owner. Y'all know already that I acquire businesses. Y'all know already that I'm acquiring cash flowing businesses that already exist, and they, especially from baby boomers who are retiring and they don't got successors, but they've been running this successful business all along without social media, without processes, without funnels. So these little things is how we can take the business to another level. And that's why we got the experts on here today, Stephen Blackburn and Stephen Johnson, Rich from Anywhere. And we're gonna completely expose social media growth hacks. What's good, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's good? What's good, man? Everything is blessed, brother. Appreciate you having us on, man.
Thank you.
We really do, man. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be on here and to spread these gems, these social media gems to your audience, to your listeners, man. Thank you.
Yeah. And before we even get started, I want to let y'all know right now, we have been known to drop like literally gems that will make y'all millions of dollars. So anybody who's watching right now, make sure you got a pen and a pad, because you never know what might come out during this right now. I'm just letting y'all know.
Yeah, I got a warning. It's called a spoiler warning. So if you're ready for this, let's go. I love it. Well, fellas, introduce yourselves and tell people a little bit more about, your backgrounds and how y'all became the experts on social media growth.
For sure, man. For sure. So my name's Stephen Johnson. I'm the co-founder of Rich from Anywhere. We're a marketing mentorship company that focuses on helping brands grow to exponential heights. All right. When I say exponential, I don't mean like little mediocre heights. I mean like exponential. We've taken brands from $900 a month to $52K a month. We've taken brands that are struggling to doing over $150K a month. We work with brands doing $200K plus a month. And our whole goal, this is our motto. Our whole thing is, we like to change lives for a living. That's what we do. That's why we're on these podcasts, is because we want to instill in you not only the skill set, but the belief that you can actually do it too, and you can get your brand to the next level.
That's it. Yeah. And at the core, like when we say we're an elite marketing mentorship company, our job, like you said, is to empower you, right? We used to be a marketing agency, and we used to run ads for companies, and we would get them results and stuff like that, but we didn't really find it as fulfilling until we got into the coaching side, right? And we started actually pouring into people and teaching people these strategies, and then watching them take our strategies and go off and blow their own businesses up by themselves without paying $5K a month, $10K, $15K a month in marketing agency retainers. That was like a whole nother level of fulfillment that kind of got us addicted, right? So we've been on this journey now for about 4 or 5 years now, and we've worked with thousands of companies across 17 or 18 different countries. It's been an awesome ride, but it didn't start that way. I want to let y'all know, all that sounds fancy and glossy right now, but I'm gonna let y'all know it didn't start that way. We started off as struggling artists, right? So we were, and when I say struggling, like we had a little bit of a buzz, and we were making some dope music, like things were going all right, but we weren't making no money, right? Like we were like the typical struggling artist out here, like doing shows, not making any money. And so we were like, all right, listen, we got family, we got things, we got to bring some money in. So this whole thing literally started because we just needed to fund our music career. So we were like, all right, why don't we start up like an e-commerce store, and let's just take the money that we make from there and then fund our video shoots and our photo shoots and stuff like that, because that stuff gets expensive, man. And so we ended up, long story short, we ended up taking that company from zero to about $250,000 in sales in about 7 months right afterwards. And we were like, we both looked at each other like, yo, wait a minute. Like we're pretty good at this. Like we should be doing this.
Let's get into e-commerce.
You know what I'm saying? And then transitioning, and this is going to be interesting for you too. So what we ended up doing was we packaged that entire business up.
Okay, before you get to the episode, I just wanted to take another moment to say thank you to each and every one of you for supporting the channel. Entrepreneurship Exposed is starting to grow like crazy, and it's all thanks to you guys. Now, if you like the content, like the information that you're getting, like the guest speakers, like all of the strategies, then the way that you can support us is by subscribing to the channel below. Now, after you subscribe, you want to make sure that you also like every video. You comment on it if you can.
And even more important is to click that notification bell. That notification bell will make sure that you get to see every single episode with all of this amazing information so that you can get started on your journey as an entrepreneur. All right, now back to the episode. Let's go.
And we sold it through Shopify Exchange. Right?
You speaking my love language,
So
man.
I'm speaking your language, right? So, and we did this so there's this thing called, anybody who's on Shopify, just know that there's a company out there called, there's a website called Shopify Exchange, where businesses are literally out there, like bees out there, like literally looking for businesses to acquire. So I want y'all to remember too, when you're out here running ads and you're building these businesses and things are like going rough and it's like, oh my God, why am I doing this? Always remember that you are building something that is an asset that can be acquired later. And you can get a lot of money on an exit if you know how to do it the right way, which I'm sure.
Yeah, and one thing we did too is we actually, when we packaged up the asset to sell it, we actually included other things inside of the packaging to make it more attractive for a buyer, right? So we actually included our Facebook ads training into the sale so that the next person that took on the company would know exactly what we were doing in order to be so profitable within our business. And that added to the value of the sale. So that's another tip for y'all looking to exit. Y'all might want to add digital assets, video assets that will assist the new owner in actually going about keeping that business afloat. So that's one thing that you could do as well.
There we go. So y'all said some spicy things already, man, because first and foremost, I love the fact that y'all are more about teaching a man to fish than fishing for them yourself, right? And that became powerful for y'all to then continue the coaching side of it rather than only running the ads for people. But then also what you're talking about, I mean, dang, if you're going to sell your house and you change the windows, it's going to, increase the value. You add a pool, it's going to increase the value. You selling your business and you're going to, add some digital assets in there as well, increase the value overall. Now, I would say this, though. I've moved away from the concept of exiting or flipping. Now, what do I mean by that? You should always have an exit plan in business, right? But flipping is something I was doing in the beginning because I was like, I can make a quick buck. Like, I've only bought it for this, and I did a couple things, turn it around, and I'm going to sell it. If you speak to any real estate expert, real estate investor, they're going to tell you, oh, man, the one thing I wish that I could have done different is I should have never sold those original pieces of real estate that I own. Like, if I had it now, it would have been worth so much more, blah, blah, blah. So I've been focused on that too, which is called assets under management, AUM. I learned that term years ago and realized that that's the term that the wealthy people focus on, is AUM, what assets under management you have. Not how much cash you have, but how much assets under management, because those assets are producing revenue for you, right? So it's definitely good that y'all exited. I did that in the beginning for sure as well. But if you keep it and are able to have someone like a team running it, then it takes it to another level, becomes more passive for you too.
100%, and that's actually a really good point. For our situation, the reason why we sold is because we actually got hired by a startup company as the main, basically mentors to coach their entire marketing department, right? So and actually down in Miami, Florida. So we used to get flown down to Miami and we would go up in these like high rises and we're teaching like a whole team of like marketing, like mentoring this whole entire team. So at that point we were like, all right, we didn't want to run the e-commerce business anymore. We wanted to kind of start getting into that space of teaching, coaching, and kind of managing stuff like that. So it was like a kind of a perfect transition for us. And that's kind of like where everything started, man. But
yeah, and it's been a wild journey to say the least, because that same company that took us on and hired us to train, like this is what allowed us to actually quit our jobs, right? So I'm sitting there working in Atlanta doing the 9-to-5 thing, and I get this call from Steven like, "Yo, they said it's a go. We're good. Tell your job you out of there." And I'm like, "Yo, say less."
Kicking down the doors, knocking over the desk, like, I'm out of this.
I barely even finished I barely finished the sentence. He was already, I'm gone. I'm out.
I'm out. So I put in my 2 weeks notice and I left in like a week because I was eager to get out of there. So anyway, we put all the stuff we had going on to the side and focused on this situation out here in Miami. And what ended up happening is the business went under within like 2 or 3 weeks. the owner died. They ended up getting a bunch of charges and all these different things happening. And it just literally put us back to square one, right?
Oh, wow.
And yeah, at that point, we had literally no money coming in whatsoever. And we just had to figure it out, you know? And at that very moment, we had to make a decision. You know, we had to make a decision. Do we want to go back to doing what we were doing before, working a 9 to 5? Or do we want to really just decide to still go for this and make this thing happen? And, you know, that's what we did. We decided to truly make a move. When our back was against the wall, against all odds, we continued to push forward and started this marketing agency, brought on a client or two, got really good results for them. That turned into a bunch of other clients coming to us. And, you know, along the way, we realized like, yo, like, this is cool, like doing the work for the people, like acquiring clients and then running ads for them and doing all the stuff for them. But we started to really realize that the true value that we could add was when we actually sat down with someone and taught them exactly what it was that we were doing. And that's when everything changed for our business.
There you go, pivoting as entrepreneurs do. There was a reel that I did once on IG, and it was an employee's worst nightmare or worst fear is losing a job, and an entrepreneur's worst fear is having to get a job. And I know exactly how that felt, man. It's like, damn, I don't want to go back to that 9 to 5 thing. Yo, I got to make this work some way or another.
Yes.
Well, you know, it's so funny because when you're in that world, you're like, when you're like still in that 9 to 5 world, you're thinking like entrepreneurship is so risky, right? It's like, oh my God, it's so risky. It's so risky. It's so what happens if I don't make any money, right? Yeah. But when you finally get out of that situation and you become an entrepreneur, you become a business owner, you realize that it's actually the opposite. Having a job is risky.
Yep.
Because now, like your entire existence is now on, like someone else has the finger on the pulse.
Exactly.
Right? See, at least with an entrepreneurship, yes, it can be a rocky roller coaster ride. Don't get me wrong, but at least you're in control of the moves. You know what I mean? So it's actually less risky. So anyone out there right now that's kind of on the fence, you kind of feel it in your heart that you have that entrepreneurial spirit and you're trying to think about making that decision and you're feeling like what I just said, I'm letting you know right now, once you make that leap and you come over to the other side, you're going to realize like you have a lot more potential and you have a lot more power than you thought. Right. Because the thing is, and I say this all the time, we all have this like elite version of ourselves inside of ourselves. Right. We have this great higher level version of ourselves that's like inside. But the problem is most people don't put themselves in an environment that allows that elite person to come to the top. Right. They're too afraid to put themselves in that environment, that do or die, that back against the wall, and that's what actually pulls that elite version of yourself out. So most people never put themselves in that environment. So that elite version of themselves stays inside all the time and they don't even know what their own power is.
And that challenges you even when you do make the leap to become an entrepreneur. There's been many times where I was making tons of money and then something crazy stuff happened, a perfect storm of bad stuff, and my back's against the wall again. And then it's like, okay, now I can keep pushing through. I've already survived before. I know it's going to be rough right now, but I'm going to thrive again. Right. So back against the wall is going to happen a lot, but I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that because when you in your 9 to 5, and listen, we're not trying to down anybody in their 9 to 5.
Nah,
you
definitely
love
not.
your career. You want to be in it. That's your choice. Make sure you have multiple streams of revenue though.
Facts.
But if you want to take this journey of being an entrepreneur, it's just a beautiful journey because when you go into it, it's like, it's exactly what you said in the beginning. I control my destiny a little bit more. If I'm in my 9 to 5 and, shit hits the fan and that rug is pulled from underneath me, I'm like, oh my God, I have no other revenue and I don't know what I'm going to do. And now you're scrambling. Mm-hmm. When shit hits the fan for an entrepreneur, you already know how to make money because you've been doing different things already. And you may got to pivot a little bit, but it's not going to be so crazy and foreign to you because you're already in it.
Exactly, man. Entrepreneurs are magicians. We really are because we have the ability to create infinite amount of money all through our creativity. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So for instance, like we wanted to go on a vacation to Miami. We wanted to bring the family down. So we were like, okay, how can we fund this vacation? We were like, yo, let's do our live event in Miami. Let's charge for the event. Let's sell some coaching packages. And we paid for our entire trip through our creativity by using our assets that we already have. So that's the thing about entrepreneurship. Once you get really good and have a particular asset that people desire, it's very easy for you to continue to make money. Just use your creativity, you know.
And then the entire trip is now a tax write-off, right? Everything from the Airbnbs to the food to the like everything. We're all writing it off, and like that's a smarter way to live, you know. But you have to like kind of have access to that type of idea for you to even think it's possible, right? Because I was on the phone actually down there in Miami. One of my friends called me, and they were like, you know, talking about how they're going on all these trips, and it's like, it's amazing, but like it's so expensive. I got to stop going on all these trips. Like it's draining my bank account. And I was like, well, bro, like why don't you just like do some business while you're out there, write the whole entire thing off and get some money at the end of the year. And he's like, well, yeah, but like my job is like set up in a way like I can't like do it. I can't write it off through my 9 to 5. It wouldn't work that way. I was like, well, bro, why don't you just create like a travel blog business, right? And then put up a website. And now like when you're traveling, like now your whole entire travel is for the blog. So which is a business. And now you can write the whole thing off. And he was like, yo, bro, I didn't even think about that. And I'm like, you got to be in the room, bro.
Y'all are messing up my whole episode because we ain't even talk about social media yet.
I know.
We're about to keep going deeper into a combo because here goes the next thing. I always say that, and then I'm saying it because it's true, not because it's opinion. The United States of America is not a country; it's a corporation, and it says it in the laws. And the reason I bring it up is because if it is a corporation, then you know the laws are written to benefit corporate entities. So you got to learn the game. I'm sorry. First, know that there's a game, but then learn the rules of the game so that you can play it too. And my big example of that for the last year now has been how Donald Trump buried his ex-wife on one of his golf courses because he found out from his accountant that if he does that, then the golf course is now classified as a cemetery and there's no estate tax, there's no property tax, can't be seized by the government. You see what I'm saying? You got to just learn how to navigate these rules, navigate this game and for your advantage. Right. So
and by the way, if you don't think that there's a game being played, then you're the one being played.
Woo! That's the truth.
Back.
Okay. Let's stop because we could keep talking about.
We could go down the rabbit hole with that.
But let's go into the social media and social media growth hacks. Now, listen, I'm pretty sure I'm older than y'all. I remember there was a social media site called College Club. This is when I was in college. And College Club, y'all probably never heard of College Club. But College Club, that was the best, right? Well, it was the best for me because I had I got a job with them too. They went to all these different colleges and then they had people, they would hire people like me to go take pictures of other people. Then I would give them a card so that they can find their picture online. It's like, here's your picture is going to be in this number. You can search for it and then they could go online and find it. That was driving more people to the site. And it was just benefiting me. I was just taking pictures of beautiful women all the time. Every beautiful woman on campus knew me because it's like, oh, the guy taking the pictures for that social media thing. That's right. Then, that went away and there was like Black Planet. Then there was Mi Gente. Then eventually MySpace. I think there was one called High Five before that. MySpace, then Facebook, and it just kept going. What are your thoughts on social media in general first before we dig down on growth hacks? Like it came, from where it came to where it is now and where it's going overall.
You know what's funny, man? So I went to college for business management with a concentration in entrepreneurship. That's what I went to school for. And I recall one day being in a class that was talking about social media. And we were watching a video, and it's funny because when this thing, like when Facebook first started, when social media like really started to heat up, there were a lot of naysayers saying that this was just a fad, right? Oh, yeah. This was just a flash in the bucket, right? Like it's something that wasn't going to be sustainable. And it's really funny that you look at it today, and now all these businesses that were naysayers, they have to participate now.
Yeah.
Right. They absolutely have to. Like, social media is literally the pulse of the world. Right. You have social media is so amazing because you literally have an audience of worldwide viewers that are tuned in and just looking for opportunities to consume, right? Consume. We live in a consumer driven society, right? So with, like, my opinion on social media is coming from an entrepreneurship perspective, right? You have an opportunity to get your content consumed by all of these massive consumers that are just looking for the next best thing to hop on to better your business, right? So when it comes to social media, like, it's so incredible, and you compare it to back in the day, right? Like, let's say you own a brick and mortar business, right? Like, you own a shop, and this shop has specific hours. You can't work 24/7 in the shop. That's too much manual labor. You got to go home. You got to close it down. You know, you got to spend time with your family. You got to do these things. But what that did was that limited the amount of hours that you could actually collect money, right? However, with social media now, that eliminates a lot of the brick and mortars out there, because now you open 24/7. You know what I'm saying? You are open 24/7. So now that gives you the ability to now make money while you sleep. And when I tell you, making money while you sleep, there's no feeling like it.
Ain't nothing like it.
It feels so good looking at the Stripe account in the morning and being like, oh, sale. Like, I was sleeping. I was dreaming about sheep, you know, and
compare that to waiting for a check every 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a different paradigm, right? Because the thing is, I truly believe that this is the best time to ever be an entrepreneur ever in existence right now. I truly think that there is. And this is the best time to ever do it, man, because of that, because the social media has just made it so it's what it's done is it's broken down all the barriers of traditional business, right? A lot of us, like, growing up, they'll look at traditional business, like he was talking about, like brick and mortars, where you have all these limitations and all these potential bottlenecks that stop you from scaling really fast, right? You have store hours. You're limited to probably a 25 to 30 mile radius, because outside of that, people are probably not going to drive that much further to come and see you, right? So you have that kind of bottleneck. But when it comes to social media and online and websites and making money online, all those barriers are gone.
Yeah.
So what that allows you to do is it allows you to see success a lot faster than you probably could have ever imagined with your logical mind thinking of how it used to be. Right. And that's one thing we have to train a lot of our students. Literally, a lot of times we're training our students, and yes, we're giving them a lot of marketing strategies and all this kind of stuff. But a lot of times we're just having to deprogram them just so we can allow them to accept and allow this type of success to happen to them, because they don't understand when it comes to online business, when it comes to, like, we run a lot of ads. And I tell people all the time, when it comes to running ads, your success has nothing to do with time. It has everything to do with strategy.
There we go.
Right? Because there are people who have come into our business or into our mentorship that have been running. I got a story for you. There's a lady named Lucretia. She had a business for 15 years. Okay. And she was still making less than $1,000 a month. All right. Still working her job, balancing things back and forth, 15 years in, still making less than 1,000. Okay. She came into our mentorship program. We showed her the right way to do things: ads, email marketing, text marketing, optimized her website, stuff like that. And then, long story short, within, I want to say it's about 10 or 11 months since she met us, she was making $10K a month. Okay. So
15 years of 1K.
That's what I'm saying. I want you to really put that in perspective, though, for real. Like, I know it's just a story, but really put yourself in that position, working a business for 15 years, still making 1,000 a month. And then in less than a year, 10Xing that business. That proves to you right there that it has nothing to do with time. It has to do with your strategy, you know? So I just want y'all to know that if you're out here trying to do something and it's just not working, listen, I'm trying to tell you right now, working harder is not going to make it work any better.
Oh, ain't that the truth? Listen, I'm loving this conversation, y'all. I'm loving this conversation. Because you're hitting some, key notes for me, man. First thing that you just said, the last one you just said about not working harder. So I told y'all I'm from Jamaica, and there was a stereotype back in the day. I don't know if it still is. People would say, "Oh, Jamaicans have like multiple jobs," Like 3, 4, 5 jobs. And it was true. I had family members that was working, 3 jobs, 4 jobs at the same time, but they were still broke. They were still living check to check. So working harder couldn't be the recipe for success. That wasn't working for them. So you have to figure out, well, what is the recipe? You have to figure out how to break the constraints of your neighborhood, your family, your culture, in order to see what else is working for the people that you want to emulate, right? But here goes another thing. You guys it's ironic that in that very little brief conversation we're having right now, I've started to look at social media slightly different. The key word in social media is media. And I know from the acquisition side, a powerful acquisition is a media company. This is why Elon Musk went after Twitter and whatnot. Not just for the sake of it, but he would control media. Now he might regret it a little bit since Threads came out, but we won't talk about that. Who knows? But media is powerful overall. And when you look at Disney, when Bob Iger was CEO, their growth wasn't from the parks itself. It was from the media acquisitions that Disney made, the ESPNs, the ABCs, the Marvel Studios, all of those type of things. So media is powerful. And once we remember that social media is media, then you could use that power to help your business grow overall. So that's kind of like a different perspective that you just made me have.
It is, man. It is. Even Ted Turner with CNN, right?
Yes,
like
exactly.
That's where a lot of his wealth came from, CNN, and so, it's something here's the thing. It's not like an if, like like a should anymore, right? It's a must, right? Like Stevie was saying earlier, like it's not something that if you keep avoiding it, you're just really hindering your own success, and you're doing yourself a disservice and your family a disservice, right? Because if you're a business owner out here that your family is depending on you, and like you got to use the tools that are right in front of you, man. So social media organically is an incredible tool, but if you want to put the juice on it, all right, you want to put the real power behind it. That's when you start running ads, right?
Well, we might as well get into that now when we start talking about the growth hacks. So ads is one, but explain a little bit more how to grow in social media overall.
Yeah, man. I mean, so there's a lot of ways. I'll get it briefly into some ad stuff. I mean, I don't know where you want to go with it exactly, but I mean, ultimately ads, so there's a lot of different ads platforms, right? We specialize in more of Facebook and Instagram ads, because that's what we've been for almost nearly 10 years at this point. And we've scaled a lot of businesses doing it. And the reason why we love it so much is because of the sheer amount of data that Facebook has on its users is crazy, right? Yeah. It's such a powerful thing when you guys understand, people are trying to figure out why Facebook ads are so powerful. It's because Facebook has so much data on its users. Yeah. Did you guys know that Facebook has 52,000 data points on every single one of its profiles? 52,000. Think about that for a second, right? And I always say this, I can barely name 52 things about myself, right? And Facebook knows 52,000 things about you. So it knows when you watch videos, what types of videos you watch, how long you typically watch them, what type of links you click on, what's your activity off of Facebook. It knows all this information. Yeah. So from a consumer standpoint, yes, that's sounds terrifying. You know what I'm saying? It's oh my God, they didn't know everything. But all of us watching this video right now, we are business owners. And from a business standpoint, dude, that is absolute gold. And y'all should be tapping into that. So when we say go on Facebook and you start putting in some of them targeting and some of them interests, it's accurate. Facebook knows exactly how to hit the right people at the right time with the right product on the right placement, right? In order for you to get the best bang for your buck. And I'm telling you, if you're not taking advantage of Facebook ads right now, you are just in a deep coma.
You're sleeping for real. You are really sleeping. And I want to put something into perspective here for y'all. All right. We had an Instagram account because, and the reason I'm saying this is because I know a lot of people are no, organic is the way to go. Let's do some content creation strategies and blow up organically. Let me do it like that. Right. And then I'm going to make all of this money. I'm here to tell you right now, the amount of followers that you have does not equate to the amount of dollars you have in your bank account. Okay. It does not. I'm going to prove it to you right now. All right. So we had an account called Vamp Live Marketing. This was like our ad agency. That's what we named it, the ad agency, Vamp Live Marketing. All right. We created a 6-figure brand with Vamp Live Marketing with 500 followers on Instagram. Okay. 6 figures a year, 500 followers on Instagram. Yeah. Now you would ask yourself like, dang, 500 followers. Like, how did y'all generate so much money on Instagram and Facebook? Like, how did y'all do it? And the answer to that is ads, right? We ran ads, and the ads is what allowed us to acquire new customers, right? So essentially, is it cool if I give them the breakdown of like how this pipeline works? Is it cool if I share some sauce with y'all? Okay,
let's get in.
Okay, let's get it in. All right, so here's the way that we do it. All right, the first thing that you have to do for your business, you have to come up with an irresistible offer of some sort, right? Something that people truly value. All right. Package that up. Okay. We call it a lead magnet, right? A lead magnet is essentially where you create an irresistible offer that people cannot refuse, right? Create that, right? What that's going to do is that's going to allow you to collect more leads. Leads meaning emails and phone numbers. All right. So you create this irresistible lead magnet offer. All right. You essentially do that to collect more emails and phone numbers. All right. Now, the way that we do that lead magnet and the way that we start generating traffic into our lead magnet is through the ads, right? So what we'll do is we'll run an ad with the optimized targeting, right? We'll funnel the traffic from the ad to the landing page with the lead magnet. People love the offer so much and it's so irresistible that they're like, yo, I got to get this. Let me enter in my email, my name, and my phone number in exchange for that irresistible offer. So people exchange their data in exchange for some sort of offer that's going to make their life better, right? Yeah. We literally have run that play for the last 4 or 5 years, like clockwork, right?
The data is everything. And I want y'all to know that data is the most valuable resource in the world, right? It surpassed oil a few years ago, right? Oil is no longer it. Data is it, right? And that's why, like you said earlier, all these media companies or these $trillion companies, it's because they own all this data, right? And so you need to be thinking about yourself. Remember, always success leaves clues, right? If these massive companies are getting acquired for unseen amount of money, right? And it's because they have all this data, well, then don't you think that the data is pretty important, right? And if the data is pretty important, don't you think that you should be collecting it as a business owner, right? Collecting data from your users is so important, right? That's one of the things we teach a lot, because at the end of the day, social media, this is a social media podcast like episode. It's great. But here's the thing. What happens if you build your IG up to 100,000 followers and then IG gets hacked? What happens if your Facebook account gets restricted? What happens if TikTok gets banned in the US, right? Like all this stuff happens on a regular basis, by the way. And we know so many people who've had 500,000 followers, their accounts gone overnight, right?
They didn't take their audience off of that platform.
Exactly.
You're gone. Like now, how are you going to reach your customers now? Right. And so you can't. But if you have a tangible list of all your customers, names, emails, phone numbers, right, in a CRM and a database, you can now reach out to them all and say, hey, listen, guys, I know my IG got hacked yesterday. It sucks, but it's cool. I'm still here. I'm over here. And actually, I'm running a sale today. Here, come get some stuff. Right. Your business can keep running. Right.
And that's one thing that we've done too, right? Like this isn't something that we're just saying like because it's a concept. This is actually something that we've been through. A couple years back, our Facebook business account that we were running that 6-figure business from got banned. Literally, Facebook dropped the hammer. We were in Facebook jail, couldn't access our ad accounts, couldn't do nothing, right? Now, for most people, that would have been a huge headache, right? For most people. For us, we were like, okay, luckily, we've collected so many emails and so many phone numbers that all we had to do was create a new Facebook business account on a completely different profile, take our emails and phone numbers, insert them back into Facebook. Facebook recognizes them, and then Facebook can now go out and create something called a lookalike audience. You know what I'm saying? So let me educate y'all on a lookalike audience real quick. A lookalike audience is crazy, right? Let's say you collect 1,000 emails and phone numbers from like your buyers. Let's say you have a list of 1,000 buyers.
Mhm.
And let's say that all of those buyers are interested in a particular thing, right? That they're interested in shopping with you. They're interested in your brand. They're interested in your niche, right? They have they're alike in many different ways.
Their age, their location, whatever it may be, all these attributes.
All of that, right? So you plug that into Facebook. Facebook has the ability to say, okay, I recognize these people. I recognize these data points. I know that all of these people are interested in your type of niche. So then you can tell Facebook, hey, Facebook, I want you to go out there and find millions of new people that are similar to those 1,000 people that have already shopped with me. And guess what? Facebook will do it.
And they do it incredibly well.
They'll give you millions of new people that you can now take and run new ads to that are similar to the people that have already shopped with you. So what do you think happens when you run an ad to those people that are similar to your buyers?
They're most likely to convert into
more money.
Yep.
More money.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I'm telling you, we've probably made more money from lookalike audiences than any other type of audience.
Definitely.
Right? Like that's a crazy, powerful strategy, man. So y'all use that, man, but start collecting your data ASAP, because until you start collecting a list, you really are like a sitting duck, Like I want all my business owners out there to know you are a sitting duck and you're very, very vulnerable if you don't have a list, because if Facebook slams the gavel on you, boom, you're done overnight, And plus, here's the thing. When you collect your emails and phone numbers, and you can now start doing email and text marketing, right? And when you start doing that on a regular basis, you're gonna make way more money, right? There's a stat that we read recently that for every $1 you spend on email marketing, you'll make an average of $36 back, right? And for text marketing, for every $1 spent on text marketing, you'll make an average of $71 back, right? So I equate that as like seeing like an ATM, where it's like every time I walk in and I put $1 into this ATM, it spits out $71, right? That's how I look at it. And it's like, bro, if you ever seen that ATM, like, would you ever leave that ATM? Like, no way. Like, bro, I'm in that parking lot right now. Like, I'm not even on this.
I'm gonna sleep in the car and just watch it and go back to it every night.
You know what I'm saying? So now knowing that, and knowing that's what the average return on investment is for text marketing, right? You knowing that and not doing text marketing is the equivalent of you walking past that ATM every single day.
There we go. You guys again keep like, perspective is just an amazing thing, because I'm in the space. I know all the stuff you're talking about, but the way that you're articulating it made me change my perspective even slightly more. Because when I read the word social media growth hacks exposed, that's the topic of this episode, I'm thinking of how to grow your social media. But you don't need to grow your social media in terms of the followers in order to be fruitful.
No.
But utilizing social media to grow your business is the concept, is a perspective that we should really have. Not just to grow my following for the sake of growing that, but using it to grow my business and revenue. If we keep that at the forefront, I think that changes everything.
That's big, man. The followers are what we call vanity metrics.
Yes.
Right? People like so many people that are focused on vanity metrics, followers, clicks, comments, right? And us as business owners, we're only focused on revenue, right? Like, does it convert, right? Like there's so many people. We have friends that have over 1 million followers on TikTok and they're not monetizing at all.
It's really crazy. Like, I'm not even going to name the name, but there's a very popular TikToker out there who has over 1 million followers, and we came up with him, right? And I hit him up one day and I was like, bro, like, because we're always looking to help, right? We're always looking to help because we know that a lot of big brands have this problem. They have the followers, but they're not making any money. So I just asked him, like, yo, bro, you got over 1 billion followers. What are you doing to make money? How are you making money? And he was like, bro, you know what? I'm not really making any money off of this following. And that goes to show you that these vanity metrics can work. But if you're not taught the right system and pipeline to get people to go through, you're not going to convert and you're not going to monetize. So honestly, I really wasn't surprised that this man didn't monetize, because how would he have known?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How would he know? How would a lot of these influencers know that there's Facebook ads and there's lead magnets and they can focus on growing their list? A lot of them just don't know. They're unaware. So it's a lack of knowledge, and people perish due to lack of knowledge, right? So our job is to actually go out there and spread this knowledge of lead magnets and how to grow your list and all these amazing things, because it's done amazing things for not only us, but for other businesses that we work with as well.
Because at the end of the day, they're principles that work, right? Yeah. Same way that like the earth has principles, right? Like gravity and like all these like principles of like physics and things that are just working no matter what, no matter who, no matter where you're at, no matter what country, these principles work, right? Gravity's always working, right? Have you ever been in a place where you just threw something up in the air and it just stuck in the air, right? Like never.
Space Center.
That's about it, right? Like gravity's always working no matter who the person is. And these principles that we're talking about, like, again, the psychology of pulling people into a funnel and following up with them either through email sequences, retargeting sequences, whatever it might be, and understanding the rules of psychology. These are principles that work, not just for us, not just for you. They will work no matter what it is.
And those things, that's a perfect example, because those things existed before social media. It's just now in different forms. Right. So it's still the core concept that works. Right. It's just now you're taking advantage of the new way that it's presented and the new way that you get more reach overall. Right. So 100%. I'm going to give y'all a quick, I guess you won't call it tip. I was just talking about this recently, and it's so one, there's two tips. One is that what I've done, and some of my students have done as well in the BBI, where I teach all the acquisition strategies and such, is $0 traffic assets. If I know how to acquire a business with no money out of my pocket, that's great. I'm getting a cash flowing business, right? But you could also use those principles to acquire a social media site. Meaning I could go find that one TikTok page of the guy that you just mentioned. And let's say that page was I love dogs, and I have a dog accessory company. Now, he wasn't making no money with that I love dogs page with 1 million followers. And most likely those 1 million followers, a good portion of them love dogs, most likely, right? Mm-hmm. So now I know that's my ideal target audience. And I can say, hey, I'd love to acquire the rights to manage this site. You can't buy it because TikTok technically still owns it. But imagine you acquire the rights to manage it. You get the administrative rights. Maybe you're exchanging some money or something else from him. And he's going to be, oh, cool. I wasn't making no money off of it anyway. Mm-hmm. Now you don't got to run ads. Mm-hmm. I got my ideal customer audience right there, and I can target them directly. So I just bought a customer list of 1 million, people that I can market to right away. But here go the second tip. Real quick. What I've done in the past also is a mixture of influencer marketing and what you guys are talking about with the custom audiences or the lookalike audiences. So I will have my pixel set up on my page. Let's use the same dogs. I love dogs example. I have my pixel. I did an influencer campaign with your friend who has 1 million followers, who is a I love dogs page. And then he runs some ads on there, some posts on there. And then it drives some traffic to my page, and my pixel is there capturing all that data of all the people that's coming, who converted, who didn't convert. This is cheaper than running ads, because influencer marketing tends to be cheaper than running ads and doing a lot of testing and stuff before you can refine it. Mm-hmm. But now I've collected a ton of data with like 10,000 people that visited and maybe 1,000 converted. And now I go take that and create the lookalike audience.
Create the lookalike. Well, here's one thing that Fashion Nova does a lot. And we got to run soon, but I just want to, I want to point this out. Fashion Nova is really good because they don't run a lot of initial ads to acquire new customers. They focus heavily on influencer marketing, right? Yes. So the influencers drive the traffic to Fashion Nova, but because they practice retargeting strategies on Facebook, the only ads that they run are retargeting strategies, meaning that let's say you visit a website and you leave, and a minute later you see ads popping up everywhere from that same brand. That's retargeting. So to me, that's a gold strategy as well of utilizing influencer marketing initially, get people into your world, and then retarget them to familiarize them with the brand.
It's just about making sure that the influencer marketing definitely has the influence that you think they do.
Yep.
And that's something that you got to get really good at, is understanding the engagement score and understanding that it's actually worth the investment. Because sometimes, you know, you invest into somebody who has 5 million followers, but 4 million of them are just bots or fake profiles. You know, and that's how you kind of get the okie doke sometimes with those influencer campaigns. But if you be careful, like if you do your due diligence, influencer marketing is very, very powerful when done strategically.
Due diligence, that's important in everything, including business acquisitions for sure. So we got to jump right real quick into popping this industry, popping social media growth hacks, right? We exposing it, so now we're going to pop it. Just give me the top pro, opportunity, and problems that we would face when we're trying to grow our social media in order to grow our business.
Okay, so I'll start with the pro. All right, so the biggest pro that you have when it comes to growing your social media and just being on social media in general is the eyeballs, right? You have the ability, because keep this in mind, social media has over 3 billion people on social media, right? And the beauty of that is you have all this opportunity to reach those people, but in all actuality, you only need a small sliver of people, right? We call it the 1,000 true fans concept, all right? And basically what this means is if you get 1,000 true fans to spend $100 with you over the course of the year, you're now making 100K for the year, right? So a pro for social media would be the fact that you have all of these eyeballs on your brand. You only need 1,000 of them to make 6 figures a year.
Yeah, and I'd say an opportunity is leverage, right?
Yes.
Like it's so much leverage in so many ways because you can now reach so many people without even leaving your house, right? Like it blows my mind how lazy some people have become, right? They're just like if you knew what it was like, and I don't even know what it's like because I'm not that old yet, but like imagine trying to grow a business in like the 60s or the 70s. Like what you had to do, like riding around handing out business cards from city to city, like dude, that was tough. Now you can literally reach millions of people by sitting behind your laptop and just slap on people's phones, right? So the opportunity is you can now reach so many more people for so little amount of money. Like you would be surprised if we showed you our metrics inside of our Facebook account, like the amount of people we're reaching for like pennies it's ridiculous, right? So just the awareness and the leverage is the opportunity. I think the problem then becomes the playing field is leveled, right? The opportunities are not just here for us, they're here for everyone.
Everybody.
Right? And that's like the natural order of things, right? As opportunities become challenges and equal challenges and obstacles will also rise with it. Right? So because social media is such an incredible opportunity for us, it's also an opportunity for everyone else, meaning there's a lot more noise. Right?
Yeah, and I would say this too, with the problem, because it's such an equal playing field, there's certain people that are outliers that happen to rise above. And with great power comes great responsibility. And I'm seeing a lot of people online that are not using integrity when it comes to marketing their services, and they're scamming people and they're stealing money and they're doing all of these different things, right? So that's a big problem with social media because people are abusing their power and not operating with integrity and scamming. Like, and we've dealt with it for years, right? Like running an e-commerce store, trying to operate with integrity, and Facebook kind of poo-poos on e-com because they're scammer e-commerce companies that are accepting money but not delivering the product. There's coaches out there that are scamming people but not delivering the product, right? So that's one of the problems with social media. So you just have to be very careful about who you put your trust in as well.
Definitely. Yeah. So it doesn't mean you avoid social media. It just means you got to be wary of these things so that you could prepare for them overall. Yeah. I love it. I love it. So guys, I do have little gifts for you all, right?
Oh, okay.
Time
Christmas in July. Christmas in July. Let's go.
Christmas in July. All right, team, let's get the first gift up. Let's see what we got. Now, I thought you guys were in a different location, but y'all are actually in Florida. But let's see if we have the gift. Oh, Lord, the gift is not ready. It's not able to go up. Okay, we're going to have to send it direct. I'm going to tell you what it is then, and we're going to send it to you. Now, the location is different. because I thought, I don't know why I thought you guys were like in Midwest, like Illinois or something like that, but it's still the same concept.
No, we down here sweating with you, bro.
I know, right? Sweating in it. And yo, it's about to be, this heat wave is crazy right now, but that's a whole different discussion. The first thing that we have for you is it's a social media marketing agency, a digital social media marketing agency for sale. I can't recall the price on it right now, but I wanted to present this to you because I believe this would help you all in, if you acquired something like that and rolled it into your existing business, now you've scaled your business by that percentage of the revenue that's coming in on this one. Now, this is something I'm just going to give to y'all. I'm going to give you the links to contact the people, the seller. Maybe it's something you're interested in, and then y'all can pursue on your own. If you want my help, I do have a company that can help you called Capital Bees. We help with acquisitions as well. Plus BBI, where we teach people how to do it themselves. Because just like you, like both of y'all, I prefer to teach people to fish rather than fish for them. But we got 2 businesses available for you guys that we're sending. One is a lower cost, the other one is higher. But it comes with multiple employees, comes with revenue right away, comes with customer lists right away that you can target immediately. Day one, when you take over the business, revenue is coming in, cash flow is coming in. Is that something that y'all would be interested in acquiring a business and scale it in order to scale your current ones?
So we definitely would be interested in acquiring a business. I think for us right now, a social media marketing agency acquiring something like that, we're kind of like the anti-agency guys over here, to be honest with you. Like because we believe in empowering. That does not mean that there's not a place for social media marketing agencies. So we would just kind of have to look at what that looks like and what the facets of the business were, for us to want to pursue something like that. But we are interested in business acquisition in general. Yes, we are definitely interested in that for sure.
But I could see that being something, because the thing is also the other side of getting mentored. Some people, yes, they want to get mentored and learn how to run ads so they don't never have to hire an agency. But some people, they do want to hire an agency, but they just want to be educated first. Yeah. That way they know how to hire the right agency and they can hold those agencies accountable, right? So it could be something like that, could be a tucked off version of RFA, like to help those types of people, and we can transition them over. So I think there's opportunity.
It gives you multiple offers, right? Levels and offers. They could upsell, all that type of stuff. So, all right, perfect. Well, I'm glad that y'all are interested in it. And the irony is I don't always go for the vertical or the horizontal integration with the specific company I already have. I got some random stuff that is completely unrelated, but they're cash flowing and they're turnkey. So I don't got to work in it. That's the next key, right? I'm not trying to buy myself a job. I'm trying to buy cash flow. Right. So I'm going to have my team send you those 2 deals that you can take a look at. You have all the info. And of course, if y'all need my help, whether learning it or executing on it, I got your back for sure. All right.
Sounds good, brother. Sounds good.
So listen, this has been a great conversation. The last thing I got to say to y'all is I have a challenge called the $1 Trillion Table Challenge. The $1 Trillion Table with a T challenge. Now, with this challenge, I want to sit in a room at a table with people who look like us. And we have $1 trillion AUM. Remember, I mentioned that assets under management. So we're going to have $1 trillion collective AUM. Now, that sounds big to some people. It's like, wow, that's crazy. It ain't. Because imagine if you acquired that $5 million company and now you roll it under yours. Now your company is worth yours plus the 5 million. Then you take the combined resources and said, hey, let me go for that 50 million. Now you roll it under. Once you know how to acquire a business, you just keep rinsing and repeating. And now your business is scaling astronomically. And it ain't too long before you hit that $1 billion mark, and we all hit it. And then we have $1 trillion AUM. My question to y'all is, will you be at that table with me?
Oh yeah, bro. We got to be at that table. You know,
100%.
we got to be at that table, man. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of like when. And the when would be like we're moving towards that right now. We're moving towards that, absolutely. And honestly, it's already happened. I'm a firm believer in energy and manifestation. Honestly, that's already happened. We sitting at the table with you right now, man.
Let's go. That's what I love to hear. That's what I love to hear. Listen, guys, it's been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing these gems, sharing this information, this insight on growth and perspective. That's been the biggest thing for me, sharing that perspective, because when you start changing your perspective a little bit, it changes everything else for you, your growth, your opportunities, and all. Tell the people where's the best place to reach you whenever they want to connect with you for consultations or more.
Yeah, man. So it's Rich from Anywhere everywhere, pretty much. So go to IG, YouTube, richfromanywhere.com. We have a bunch of different resources out there that y'all can really start tapping into when it comes to Facebook ads. And also we have, speaking of challenges, we have a challenge called the Grow Your List Challenge. And this is a 3-day live virtual event where we literally are teaching a small group of people all of our strategies on how to grow lists and how to monetize their list. And some of the results that we're getting in these challenges are incredible. And people are leaving with thousands of leads collected. They're making money by the time they left the challenge. They're feeling empowered. And it's all done virtually. You can do it from anywhere in the world. And hey, maybe you can share the link, with people in the description if they want to join that. But that would be the best place for you to come and really experience RFA for the best way, because we're gonna melt y'all's faces off during those 3 days. If y'all thought this was even halfway good, wait till y'all see these challenges, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, go to our IG and look at our highlights, and you can see the testimonials from our past challenges if you don't believe what he's saying right now. It really goes down in there.
All right, y'all heard it here. Rich from Anywhere, everywhere, right? And that's how y'all can tap in with my guy Blackburn and Stephen Johnson, and they'll take you to that next level. All right, so everybody, you already know what it is. It's time. You got to make sure that you have liked and subscribed and you turn on the notification bell. And if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, make sure you're saving that and sharing it with others. Get the word out. You don't want to miss conversations like this where we just expose social media growth hacks for the entire industry. I'll see y'all on the next episode. Shout out to y'all, Mr. Blackburn, Mr. Johnson. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Likewise, brother. Anytime, man.
For sure.
Hey, y'all. So first and foremost, I want to thank you for those of y'all that tuned into this stream. This stream was meant to motivate you for 2025, and that's what it's all about, y'all. So kudos to you. Congratulations for making it this far, y'all. And I just want to send y'all all the positive vibes for the new year. I want to send you all the positive vibes in your business. I want you to tap into a community of like-minded people that can help to elevate you. All right, y'all. So with that being said, for those of y'all that want to learn more about how to join RFA in 2025, go ahead and click that link below. Take some action for the new year. There's no better time than right now, y'all. All right. That being said, y'all, we are going to get out of here. Be sure to like this video, subscribe this, go ahead and share this stream with someone who needs it. This will be up for another day or two before we take it down. So take some action, y'all, and we will see